Alrighty, everybody, welcome to Casual Sports Talk Podcast, Week 7 Stocks Edition. And now we got the gentleman who wants to sing a song right here. And the song goes like this. So long, Deshaun, Avita, say goodbye. Adieu, goodbye, goodbye, goodbye.
Oh, yeah.
Goodbye, Deshaun.
Oh man, that was a banger, Stu. Fantastic.
I had to do it. I had to do it since one person loves the Cleveland Browns and Deshaun Watson, and the list of great quarterbacks that have failed since 1999. A lot of failed graveyard quarterbacks. And now we got the gentleman right over here who realizes that I guess Michigan sold their soul so Detroit can fly. Here's Douglas.
Yeah, buddy. I knew we weren't going to get a national championship and a Super Bowl in the same year, Stu. It was too good to be true. The Lions were never going to win the NFC Championship, being up 17 points.
Yeah.
We had to pick one or the other. We went with Michigan, but this year we got the mighty Lions looking good.
I'm sorry that your Wolverines are absolutely trash this year. I'm sorry.
Me too, Stu. Me too. There's some rough
Are they
ones.
They're 4-3.
Yeah, they look rough, man.
That's not trash, but I mean that's not great.
It's not good. They put up their least amount of points since 2014 this last weekend. They can't get anything going, but Dave Portnoy, the Barstool's guy, said he's committing money each year to buy us a quarterback. So that's what we're banking on right now.
Hey, maybe you could have Tom Brady as your head coach.
Well, a more realistic one is there's this guy Bryce Underwood in Belleville that somehow Michigan let go to LSU, but they're going to try to offer him $4 million to stay in Michigan. So we'll see. He's the number one rated player in the country for next year. So we'll see if Michigan can buy him or if he's going to stay at LSU.
No, it is not. It's not looking good. And now, gentlemen, I guess we get to talk about, like I said, we are now in Week 7 stocks, so we can get started right over here. And we got a couple teams that had some buys this week. We got Chicago Bears. Interestingly enough, this week, they would actually make the theoretical playoffs. But like I said, they're not playing this week, so they got the buys. Look at this.
Stu, the Bears play the Commanders.
Yeah. Can I throw something out there really quick, just randomly? Like really quick. There was a columnist that said that the NFC North might have the 4 best teams in the NFC. That would include the Bears, which I don't know if the Bears are the 4th best team in the NFC or not, but it was an interesting article.
It's a very interesting article, and this is very interesting of a team. Like I said, there's no clunkers in this division. Who would have thought that the NFC North was actually this good?
I mean, yeah,
Yes. And then, at least the good news is Cowboys didn't have a bad week this week.
Yay.
And now I got it.
It depends how you define a bad week, because they got made fun of a lot. Like they still had a bad week, just not on the field.
I take my comment back. The Bears play the Commanders Week 8, not Week 7. My apologies, gentlemen.
Oh man, that's going to be a good one though.
How dare you on that one? But we'll see how it goes right over here. And now we got some good games right here. The week number 1, the greatest of all games. The Denver Broncos played against the greatest team, Sean McVay's New Orleans Saints. And now the New Orleans Saints, unfortunately.
Dude, I think you say his name wrong every week.
Sean Payton.
Yeah.
Sean McVay's the head coach of the Rams. Sorry. We should have an episode of Stu is wrong.
Yeah, I still want to do the right now counter. That's what I want to do. I might tally on my paper here.
Oh no. Wrong, and then next you're gonna do like my one podcast I listen to is Stu versus Stu, being contradictory.
So before we jump to the Saints, the Bears and Cowboys, they had a bye week, Week 7. Yes. The Bears, the previous week, we gave them a 6.
Yes,
and then the Cowboys a 4. So that's what we'll be saying with them for this week.
Yes. So we'll start out with the New Orleans Saints, who lost really badly to the Denver Broncos. And I feel like this might be a good review. But what happened to this team? This team had 2 good wins. against really crummy teams and then never won any games ever since. And now they gotten crushed badly by the Buccaneers and badly by the Broncos, 33-10. This is not even a close game. This is a decisive loss for the Saints. It is not looking good. Spencer Rattler did not look good. So I guess I'll start right over here. Last week, what did we give the Saints last week? I believe
we all gave them a 3.
This is a dilemma because it's been like they've been clunker losses right now, and that game was not fun. It was not fun to watch. It was a terrible game.
Yeah, I was really grateful that I did not watch this game. I'm really grateful that I just
you are great that you did not watch this game. I gave up like watching half of this game. This is like it's like oh Broncos were looking good. Oh, the Saints look like they're trash. Oh, it continues the memes. I honestly feel like, are they in the 2 category? That's what I'm trying to think. Because like I said, how long until Derek Carr is going to be back?
Yeah. Well, I saw somebody had an opinion that the Saints coach would be the first coach fired this year. Ooh. Or like, I guess the next coach. And I was like, oh, that's an interesting perspective. Like, I think that's how crazy bad they've been. Since they beat the Cowboys, we all thought we're super impressed with them after the Cowboys. And now they didn't just lose. They got destroyed by the Broncos.
5 straight losses.
Honestly, both those losses. Yeah, and honestly, those 2 wins does not look good, impressive. And honestly, it feels like this is like the same old – this might be a worse Saints team than last time. So I figured, you know what? I'm feeling the 2 because you know what? That's their record. They're 2-5. They deserve the 2. They have 5 losses in a row. I don't think they're in that 1 category, but it's definitely not looking good right now. So, Christopher, you get to go next.
Same boat. Last week I gave them a 3, as we all did. This week going a 2 because that's how they're currently playing. I mean, if you lose 5 games in a row after starting 2-0, they were looking great week after week 2. I think we had them going to the playoffs, but yeah, they're on a downward spiral currently. Current market value at 2.
Yeah, they're heading to a spiral of despair and misery and failure and misery.
Yeah. How many wins do they have?
They have 2 doses.
Perfect. I'll round out the 2s. Quad 2s for these bozos.
My God.
Quad. I see. Because they got 2. I gotcha.
They got more. Who would have thought that after the Saints stocks? Should we just say, are the New Orleans Saints heading to a recession right now?
Big time recession, no doubt. What did we have them going at 6 at one point? We had them at a 6 after they beat the Cowboys.
Yeah, and honestly, I feel like that they might be needing some government bailouts right now. These Saints are not looking good right now, and the stock options right now.
Plus, I heard that Kamara wants to be traded. I only saw it from one source though, so I don't know how true that is. But man, plus you got Rashid Shaheed, who's out for the season. Man, they're bleeding.
Maybe the Cowboys can redeem their season. The Cowboys should get Kamara, Stu. Maybe you guys would actually be able to do something.
Let's do it. Let's get Kamara. Oh my God! If we got Alvin Kamara, I would literally just be like, "We're winning the Super Bowl. We're winning the Super Bowl." That is the Super Bowl.
Right, I take that back. I do not want that to happen, though.
No. It's gonna. You're gonna see humble Stu back.
Yeah. Stu, did you sell your cowboy soul for the Buckeyes to be good? Is that what you did?
Maybe. You didn't know that's what Browns fans and Bengals fans do every year. We sell our soul just so we can have us for the Ohio State University to win national championships and do well.
Yeah, I think maybe the state of Texas has to choose between the Longhorns and the Cowboys as well. Who knows?
No, we wish it would be Georgia, but we're not going to talk about it. But anyway, I guess we'll start right over here with Christopher. The Denver Broncos are – who would have thunk that they're actually doing much more better? I know you guys were thinking the Chargers doing good. And granted, Chargers, we'll get to there when we talk about the Chargers right now. But honestly, Aren't the Broncos looking better? Bo Nix looking good as a quarterback? Is there a change in the wind? We'll start with you, Mr. Fyodor.
Yeah, last week we all gave them a 5. Simmons, their median last week was a 5. This year, right now they're in the playoff picture. They would play the 2 seed Houston Texans. So in that manner, yeah, Bo Nix looking legit. Man, these rookie quarterbacks are looking pretty good. Bo Nix, Jane Daniels, unfortunately for the Commanders, but that's a different talk for later on.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would put the Broncos from a 5 to a 6 because right now they're playing pretty well. And I know this is current market value, but next week they play against the Carolina Panthers. So I mean, trending wise, their market value could easily go up. But yeah, I'm comfortable with a 6.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. I mean, I know they played a lot of crummy teams or teams that just kind of feel like they've been meh. But like I said, they've been winning games. I'll give them credit. They did have one good win against the Buccaneers. I will give them credit for that.
Yeah, what's the record sitting at?
They're now 4-3 right now. 4-3 and would make the wild card right as of right now.
Nice. Yeah, I respect it, man. I respect it. I'm also on the 6 train.
Ooh. You're just going to see it. Honestly, I'm impressed with Bo Nix. I honestly thought he was going to be a bust. If you remember that I picked him as the bust. And honestly, these rookies have been looking good. Most of these rookies, who would have thought that the Denver Broncos was going to be legitimately better? And honestly, Sean Payton, maybe he's actually a good coach, and maybe he, granted him and Russell Wilson didn't work out, and maybe because like Russell Wilson's more of a veteran, and I think Sean Payton was like, I need a rookie to mold him, and he molded Bo Nix right, and he molded this team to get to 6 right now. I don't think they can beat the Texans. I still think the Texans are a way better team than the Broncos, but can we all, gentlemen, give a pat on the back?
Oh, a pat on the back or a round of pat on the back for us guys.
Round of applause back in the back. We gotta give it. We gotta give it.
Good job, Casual Sports Talk Podcast.
Woohoo! Oh, look at that! And now we got to talk about another great game. Some might say
the Broncos, the median of 6. Gotcha.
Yes.
Nice.
Yes. The
Hey,
great.
Joe, I gotta say about this. Give him my money. Where's my money?
I'm sorry. I don't have your money with you.
Because for all of our viewers out there, last week there was a bet. Doug picked the Jaguars to win, and Stuart picked the Patriots. It's like Doug was victorious. Where's the money?
Give my money.
I will buy you a drink at the bar. I'm just that sad. It's
a drink at the bar is more expensive than $5, dude. Might as well just give him $5 to have a drink.
I've won 2 bets in a row.
Oh God, you 2 drinks at the bar. Darn it.
Or Stu, I can just take it off the YouTube TV. There you go. I'll send you just slightly less money.
All right, that's fine.
All right. Maybe we'll have another bet for double or nothing.
Yes. And now I guess we'll start with the New England Patriots. We were the battle of the ones. Both teams, we gave out super ones. We were giving out ones like crazy right now. Now, I guess we'll start with you, Christopher. What is your thoughts about this New England, this sad sack of a New England Patriots? I know they had Drake May finally play, but he looks like trash against a really trashy Jaguars in London.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't a home team for the Jaguars, but man, that game was ugly. They scored 10 points in the first half. They gave up 22 points in the second quarter alone. Drake May actually 26 of 37. That's pretty good for almost 300 yards, 2 touchdowns. So it seems like it was a defensive implosion there by the Pats. We gave them a 1 last week, and we can't drive off that. How many wins do the Patriots have?
They only got 1 win, and it was
that's where we're gonna go. We're gonna give them a 1 for right now because
you
lose, you can't move up. You can only stay where you're at.
They had 1 win, and it was the week 1. They only had 1 win, and it was against the Bengals team, who does not look good.
Oh, Stu, man, oh man, this team's bad. As their head coach called them, they're soft. It's a soft football team right now.
I know.
Okay. And you know what a soft football team gets? They get a 1.
Ooh, you know what? I'm gonna give this team a 10 just because. Oh wait, this is 2008. Sorry, this is the wrong year. Oh yeah, this is 2024 Patriots. This team is garbage. Honestly, this team looks like nothing has changed. I feel like they decided to go back retro, gentlemen. They decided to go way back in the day to the greatest team, the 1990s Patriots, where maybe they can copy the 1990s Patriots when they can go 1-15. It is not looking good in Patriots land. Your Patriot stocks has gone into recession right now. And now I guess we'll start with you, Douglas, right over here. What is your thoughts about the Jacksonville Jaguars? They did win decently. Not like a decisive win, but still okay. They only got 2 wins. That's not really saying much.
Yep. So, I mean, when I start to do these rankings, I think about other teams and who I think they could beat and lose to and all that good jazz. And so I think I'm going to bump them to a 2. Like when I think about them versus the New Orleans Saints, I would probably pick the Jaguars right now. We had the Saints at a 2. Like this is a team that, granted, it's a terrible team, but they won. They won convincingly. I think they've won 2 out of their last 3 games as well. Maybe they're going to start to find a little bit of a groove here. They got some good running backs going. I think that this team, I don't think that this is a number 1 or a number 2 overall pick caliber team. I think they'll pass up some teams. They're better than probably the Panthers and the Patriots, for instance. So give me the 2.
Yeah, this is going to be the battle of who's going to stink. Patriots, Panthers, or Browns. And honestly, I'm going to give them the 2. I think if this was like a close game to overtime, yeah, I'd give both these teams 1. But it wasn't decisive, but it's at least close enough. I'll give them a little bit of credit right now. I still think this team is kind of trash, in my opinion. Like, not really saying much. I think they're going to have an early playoff game. I'm not going to make the playoffs. Playoffs for the Jaguars? No, there's no playoffs. There's double losses. So, fortunately, the Jacksonville Jaguars become the Jacksonville disaster yards. They chomp themselves out of the postseason. Now, Christopher, you're going to be up next.
Oh, it's an easy 2 because we gave the Patriots a 1. There's only one other team that has a 1 in my book. So you typically can't have 3 teams at a 1 because the 1 is reserved for the team that has number 1 overall pick and the number 2 overall pick for the teams. And like what Doug was saying, like, you got to think of who they match up against. If the Jaguars and the Browns were rematch again right now, I would be confident in the Jaguars beating the Browns. Obviously, that's not going to happen. But, yeah, they won in commanding fashion. They won by 16. Impressive. I know it wasn't on home soil. It was overseas. But, yeah, a 2 for the Jags.
2 for the Jags, and that's how it goes.
That means their median is 2.
And now it's going to be interesting. We're going to talk about the game of the week, probably the Minnesota Vikings versus the Detroit Lions. Who would have thunk it if it was 2 years ago, if I thought the Minnesota Vikings versus Detroit is the game of the week?
Well, Stu, the hard part was it wasn't even called the game of the week. They gave that to the Chiefs-Niners. But in America's heart, America's team was part of the game of the week, right?
That's right.
The Detroit Lions is America's team, of course.
No,
I agree. Stuart, 2 out of 3 on the Casual Sports Talk podcast agree that the Motor City Lions are America's team. So you got to go with majority vote.
All right. You know what? Then I'm going to switch it. The Cleveland Browns are America's embarrassment.
I mean, I'll take it, but we were talking about the Browns. We're talking about the Lions here.
All right. We'll start with the Minnesota Vikings, who got their first loss right now, lost to the Detroit Lions in a clincher right there by a field goal, which is crazy, 31-29. It was actually a very good game. I honestly thought the Vikings could have snagged this game away, but somehow the Browns and their Detroit and their chinny chin actually made this one. So, but now this is going to be the interesting part. Where do I put the Minnesota Vikings? I honestly feel like they had a close game. I honestly think they could probably still beat the Lions. That was not a gimme win. That was not an easy win, an easy loss, but it was a close loss. So I don't feel like lowering them down to the 8 because I just feel like as of right now, they still would make the postseason. They would make the wild card, and I believe they play against Atlanta, and I think they can beat Atlanta. So, and then I honestly do after that. I honestly could see them playing against either Washington or the Packers. I think they can beat the Packers. So then I'm still going to give them the 8. I think that it's still an 8 team in my opinion, even though they did lose. Now it's going to be interesting because there was one time, gentlemen, and I should talk before we get to Chris. There was one year when they were 5-0 one time, and this was the 2016 season. The Minnesota Vikings were 5-0. People were like, "Oh my God, this is the greatest Vikings team of all time! Oh my goodness!" And then they literally went 8-8 and didn't make the postseason.
Mm-hmm.
Is history going to repeat itself, gentlemen?
No, I don't think so. This team's defense is too good for that.
Oh my God. How would you feel if this does happen?
I mean, hey, that would mean the Lions probably won the division, so good for the Lions.
Good for the Lions right now. So we're going to start with you, Christopher. What is your thoughts about the Minnesota Vikings? Last week, we all gave them the 8, if I remember correctly.
Do you guys know how serious Jane Daniels' injury is for the Commanders?
He's week to week.
Okay, because I'm in between. Obviously, I'm in between a 7 and 8. Obviously, you can't put them at a 6, can't put them at a 9, obviously, because they lost. But, man, the Commanders were looking hot with Jane Daniels, and that'd be the only other team. Well, obviously, the Lions going to give them an 8, possibly a 9, but we'll come to that next. The only other team that could possibly currently going to the NFC Championship game would be the Commanders or the Vikings. Man, that'd be interesting to have an NFC North NFC Championship game. Vikings Lions. But man, yeah, they played great up until the last 15 seconds or last 2 minutes when Lions made that drive. But yeah, since it was such a close game, they were on the brinks of winning. I'll keep them at an 8.
Ooh. All right, now, Douglas, you got to talk about your rival right now, your Minnesota Vikings. That team that could take the NFC North.
Yeah, they might. You never know. But I'm in a 7. I'm in a 7. Yeah, because I think too. I mean, you guys are right. It was the last second win, but it wasn't. It's going to sound weird because obviously they came from behind, but it wasn't quite as close as it looked. The Lions had complete control of this entire game. They're up 11 in the fourth quarter. Then they had like a couple of fluky plays. Like they had non-Lions like plays. I mean, granted, that's part of the game, but they were dominating this game. They were doing whatever they wanted. And then when they still needed to get a drive to get a field goal, they did that at will too. Like their offense was just pretty close to perfect still, and it was pretty fun to see. And like granted, there was a couple of turnovers there in the fourth quarter at the worst time, but like all great teams do, they adjusted and they still came out with that W. So I think the Vikings, while they're really impressive, I think I prefer the Commanders personally. I like just what the Commanders can do on offense. So
Vikings with a median of 8. I like that take, Doug. That was beautiful.
That's a very good one. So at least you're not doing. Now this is going to be interesting.
Because looking at the probability win percentage, it was the Vikings for the first quarter and a half. Then from the second quarter on up until midway through the fourth, it was all Lions. And then obviously the last minute or so was Lions. But yeah.
It was a great game. Stu, I got to say thank you too, because I actually watched the end of this game as I was on the platform for Millennium Force. And a bunch of Lions fans, we all celebrated the win together. It was fantastic.
Oh, they had the game on?
Well, I was watching it, and then I told them as their train was leaving, it was like, did the Lions win? And I got to tell them that they won. And so everybody was like clapping and cheering on the platform. That's how I know it's America's team, Stu. This was in Ohio.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just saying that's close enough. I mean, I'm just saying get Detroit Lions gear in like Farbo, North Dakota. Then let me see.
I wonder what kind of football gear you would see in What city do you say North Dakota? But in any part of
Dude, I think they have like the best Division II or FCS team in the country.
Yeah, University of North Dakota.
Yeah, I think they're like always elite. Like they love football in North Dakota. So I don't understand.
I'm just saying. I feel
If
like
anything, I bet they're probably Packers fans.
Yeah.
Probably same color scheme.
Yeah, that's always. And first of all, we got to talk about you, Douglas. So it's interesting. The line. If I told you this, when your favorite coach of all time, giant beard man himself, who looked like a Best Buy manager back in the day.
Oh, so sorry.
My God, those terrible memories. If I would have told you, wave a magical wand, 4 years later, woo, the Detroit Lions are now the number one team in the NFC.
Yeah, they're the number one rated team on FPI as well. Like I think for me, I mean, I'm obviously biased here. they look well. It's hard because there's like 3 teams I think look like they're the best teams. But I think the Lions, if they go out and get a defensive end, especially, they're the most well-rounded team for me right now. Like it's crazy because their GM, man, like they finally started to just crush drafts. Like every other era before, the Lions would like miss on a bunch of draft picks, mess up, whatever it was.
Oh.
But these new guys, like they actually hit on player after player after player to the point where you just like trust their judgment. They just have culture guys. They have coaches that motivate, and their offensive coordinator is so creative that like they're getting guys so open. It's unbelievable. Like it doesn't even feel like the NFL how open the Lions are sometimes. Now, granted, Jamison Williams, he's suspended for 2 games. That's a giant buzzkill. He had some performance-enhancing drugs, so he tested positive, so he's out the next 2. So they'll have to kind of have some other dudes step up, whether that's a Jahmyr Gibbs like we saw this last week, what it is. And, I mean, their defense, it has some flaws now, and they don't have Aiden Hutchinson. Like, it's kind of scary to think that this is a team without Aiden Hutchinson that just went into the number 1 team in the NFC and won. And it's like, man, oh, man, if they can play that good without Aiden Hutchinson and still just, like, be that good on offense. Like, Tom Brady was talking about how he thought that they were the best team in the NFC. And he said that they have the best offensive line. And they just have the most creative play calling. Like, he was questioning the Cowboys. He's like, why are the Cowboys, like, he didn't understand their philosophy, where he's like, the Lions, this is how you do offense. You have a running game. You can pass it. You use motion. You have tight ends. Like, Laporta might be a top 3 tight end in the game, and he gets 2 targets a game because they have so many other dudes and creative ways to get them all the ball. I'm going to do a 9. I'm going to do a 9.
Ooh, we got the 9 right over here. Ooh, now this is going to be a tough one for me. I'm contemplating either way. I can go either way right now. Like, there's a part of me that I'm like, should I give them the, continue the 8 because they didn't lose, they didn't win closely, but they did win
on the road.
On the road
against an undefeated team.
Yeah. Against an undefeated team, the Minnesota. This is a very tough one. I mean, and also, like, aren't you glad that Matt Patricia's gone? Aren't you glad the old ways of just copying the Patriots is gone now?
Stu, it's really weird, but it feels like the Lions are like almost trendsetters. And like I never thought I'd see the day where they actually like you actually like would want to copy what they're doing.
Yeah, it was like they went from like 5 years ago from like copying the Patriots, but in a bad way, to now culture change.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean.
Well, like, you would have thought too that like losing Stafford like was probably the best thing the Lions ever did.
Yeah.
You get Jared Goff, who looks like one of the best quarterbacks in the league in this system. Like they said, he's had 3 perfect halves this year. The only quarterback in the league to have a single like perfect half. So he completed all of his passes for an entire half on 3 separate occasions. They said he's now the number 1 passer against the blitz, which last year that was the Lions' weakness. So, like, there's not really their offense is just unbelievable. You have Jahmyr Gibbs getting 10 yards a carry. Like, it's just beautiful.
I feel like it's amazing because I feel like Goff is probably like in that super, like elite, but not like super elite. but I think that team really helps elevate Goff, if that kind of makes sense.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I
I
mean?
mean, Goff showing why he was the number one pick. Like, people
Yeah.
kind of threw Goff away, but it's like the
Yeah.
dude, like, we forget about how good the Rams offenses were with him as well. Like, remember that epic Rams-Chiefs game? And I think was it in, like, Mexico City or something?
Yeah.
Like, it was like that game that was like 52-49.
Was that a Monday night game as well?
It was a Monday night game, yeah.
But yeah,
was
I
like
remember
Mahomes
that game was
versus
crazy.
Goff, and like it was Goff going toe to toe with Mahomes, and it was just like this dude went to a Super Bowl. He's a straight baller, man. And
yeah, I'm
he's
giving credit.
tall, he's
I
athletic,
honestly think,
he just-
I would say if Goff was on another team, if Goff was in the Saints or the Falcons, I don't think he's being this elite. But I think because Goff is in the Detroit Lions, this is why he's doing so good right
Oh
now.
yeah, I mean I think part of it's a system for sure, but either
Yeah.
way, I mean he is destroying in the system. So it's like
Yeah, I think honestly that it's more the system that has helped Goff. But this is always the good question. Now I'm going back. I'm like, I honestly feel like
Don't think too hard, Stu.
I don't want to think too hard. I'm like thinking 8, 9. They would get the wild. They would get the bye, and I do think they probably can beat the weakest team. They could probably beat the Bears. They could probably beat the Packers.
mhm, mhm.
I think they're gonna get. But can they go? Can they be?
Who could beat them still?
Yeah, so who would they lose to in the playoffs?
I think you know what? You convinced me, Douglas. Let's go put a 9 right there. 9 for the line.
Beautiful still.
Yes.
Yeah, America's Motor City team is looking good. Put me down as a 9 as well because, like Doug said,
Nine.
he didn't say this, but I'm saying this. The Lions are like a mold for a great team. I don't want to say perfect team because there's still like no team is perfect besides those Dolphins and whatever year that was.
The 72 Dolphins, sorry.
But yeah, they're in today's football, NFL, they're like the mold of pretty much a perfect team. Like Doug said, unfortunately, Aiden Hutchinson with that injury 2 weeks ago. But yeah, the run game, they have David Montgomery, Gibbs, tight end Laporta, Williams, Williamson, he's out for two weeks. But they still have Amon-Ra St. Brown. And Goff's going off. But yeah, easy 9. Yeah, who would they lose to in the playoffs? Looking at these teams, Bears, Packers, Vikings, Falcons, Seahawks, Commanders.
So the only one that I'm not gonna lie that makes me nervous is the Commanders right now. I mean, granted, obviously the Vikings are still a threat. Like all these teams can play really great, but the scariest one is the Commanders, man. Like Jaden Daniels can just straight ball out.
Yeah,
as long as he comes back healthy, like you said, he's week to week, or day to day, whatever you want to call it, this day and age. As long as he's healthy, that should be, man. I would love to see Lions Commanders in the NFC Championship game. That'd be crazy.
That'd be so refreshing.
Yes, it's gonna be so weird to think that. Oh my God, that's gonna be NFC Championship Lions versus Commanders. This is going back to 1992. We're retro back.
Is that one of the last?
Yeah, that was the last time.
Commanders? Wow.
And I believe that was the last time the Lions before this year, when they made it to the NFC Championship, was against the Washington Commanders, actually.
Nice.
And
so the median for the Lions is a 9. All right.
Wow. And I give them a triple.
I wasn't really expecting anything less, to be honest with you guys.
And now we got to talk about another team that's doing so great. The Tennessee Titans lost to the Buffalo Bills 10-34. I did not see this much on Red Zone because Buffalo was going all the way. Bills Mafia was absolutely destroying. I guess we'll start with me about how do I feel about the Tennessee Titans. Oh, my God. Will Levis is trash as a quarterback. And he got benched now for Mason Rudolph.
Dang, did he really?
Yes.
No kidding.
So it is not.
Did he get hurt? I thought he got hurt, though.
Technically, he did get hurt, but still.
So he didn't get benched.
But I mean, this is it's not really saying much. Will Levis has not been a good quarterback this year as a Tennessee Titans.
Leslie came to hang out.
Yeah, I like kids.
That was Elizabeth.
Oh, Elizabeth. Oh my God, Lizzie was coming back. Oh my God, we got a Lizzie sighting. That's it. That's a toast. What did I do last week giving them, Christopher?
We all gave the Titans a 2 last week.
And God, they did lose.
It doesn't get any easier for them. They play at the Lions next week, too.
Oh, God, that's another loss. Oh, my God. So this is like the battle of like, oh, should I get one? But I don't think they're the one. But they came close to teams. But the only bad teams are like they only beat the Dolphins. I think I'm going to keep them at the 2, but I'm just like, I'm not really impressed with this Tennessee Titans team. It looks, they're a bottom 5 worst team in the NFL right now.
Yeah.
All right,
I mean, Mason Rudolph, he had a good game, 25 of 40. He did have an interception, but I mean, when you throw for over 200 yards, I think that's a pretty good day. Quarterback.
They did lose by 24 points.
He was on the road. He was in Buffalo. The Bills are a top contender in the AFC. But that doesn't stray away how your team is currently doing. Not your team specifically, but how the Titans are currently doing. I said earlier that you can't have more than 2 teams at a 1. But, man, the way the Titans are playing, I'm going from a 2 to a 1. And this week I will have 3 teams under my arsenal as a 1. So as far as the Patriots and the Titans, and you guys will see who the third team is here in a little bit.
Is it going to be some mistake on the lake that might be a 1? I mean, this is interesting because I feel like I know we normally do 2. We only got 2 1s, but there's been a lot of clunkers that are 1s that are just like, you know. What I mean?
This year definitely feels like there's more. There's like it's top and bottom heavy. It's very polarized, if you will.
Yeah, I do feel like this is very different than like last year, where I felt like there was like a distinct 2 bottom 1s, and then I kind of feel like it was been consistent versus this year where it's like, God, I feel like everyone could be a 1. Any one of these could be.
There's a solid 5 teams that could be 1s right now, but for me, the Titans still aren't quite one of them. I mean, I might feel differently next week. We'll see how they play against the Lions, but I'll throw them out as a 2.
Oh my goodness, we got the 2-1-2 for the Tennessee Titans.
The Titans with a median of a 2.
Yeah,
going into week 8. Nice.
But it's like a week 2. Let's be honest. This is probably the worst 2 in the NFL right now.
It's like a 1.7, but you got to round up to a 2.
The Saints are a pretty bad 2 right now too.
Who would win against the Saints versus Titans game?
I don't know, man. It's like,
I'd probably take the Saints in that one.
Yeah,
even if they played in Tennessee.
I think it might just be a home field type of game. Who knows?
Let's have it in London.
There you go. Neutral field.
Yeah, send it to Germany. And
Can
now
I start off on the Bills here real quick?
Yes, Douglas, you get to start off with the Buffalo Bills.
It's a silly thing, but something that shocked and I was kerfuffled on or something, if you will. The NFL, like the ESPN does their power rankings of the NFL, and they have the Buffalo Bills above the Ravens.
What?
How in the world do you justify
what?
that?
Buffalo what?
Party they lose by 25 to the Ravens? Like, I think this is a lovely team. Like, you know, of course, I think I got destroyed on my trade now that Amari Cooper's on the Bills. And, like, good for Josh Allen. Like, he's finally got a wide receiver that's worthy again. Like, he's got his wide receiver 1. They got a good running game. Josh Allen's great. Defense is great. I like this team a lot. What did I give them last week?
Stuart gave him a 7. Doug, you and I gave him a 6.
I'll jump up to a 7. Like, I think the AFC, the top of the AFC is tough, though, man, because you got the
Chiefs
you got the Chiefs and the Ravens. Then you got the Steelers and the Bills. It's like, man, oh man, all 4 of those teams are really nice teams. But I think Buffalo, I'd pick Buffalo to beat a lot of teams, though. They're good. I'll give them a 7.
Yeah, and I honestly do feel like I'm going to continue giving Buffalo. They're not Buffalo. They're the Buffaloes. Bills Mafia, I should say. I'm going to be nicer. Anytime when Buffalo looks good, I'm going to have to give them 7 destroyed coffee tables for the Buffalo Bills. They're just looking good. I think they can beat the Pittsburgh Steelers. Josh Allen's looking amazing. Honestly, could you say this Buffalo team is a lot better than last year's Buffalo team?
Yeah. Did Buffalo make that? Did they make the playoffs last year?
They made the playoffs last year. They won a playoff game against the Steelers, and then unfortunately, Like the tradition goes in Buffalo, the kicker decided to kick it right and lose to the Chiefs against them.
Oh. Yeah, I mean, I know Lamar Jackson's in the more serious candidacy for or the favored candidate for the MVP, but I would say Josh Allen's not too far behind.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, man, he had 21 completions for 323 yards. That's 15 yards a pass, give or take, 2 touchdowns. And yeah, they I mean, you figured they were going to slaughter the Titans in was it Orchard Park where they play for the Bills?
Yes.
Yeah, right now they'd be a 4 seed against the Steelers. The Steelers, I mean, man, they're looking tough though. But yeah, I would increase the Buffalo Bills from a 6 last week up to a 7 for this week. Because yeah, just the way they're playing and how Josh Allen's killing it.
Yeah, look at that. You can finally agree my opinion, because my opinion is always right for the most part.
Sure, you had him at a 7 last week.
Yeah, and now you agree with me.
I mean, yeah.
I'm just saying, you get to agree. I mean, I feel like this Buffalo team is looking good. And now, speaking of other teams, we got another great matchup. The Miami Dolphins played against the Indianapolis Colts, and now we got to talk about the Miami. I think we change their name back to the Miami Dolphins because they're lolling at 2-4. But like I said,
they did not so fast. What if Tua comes back?
This team ain't making the postseason. Let's be honest. All right, we'll start with you, Christopher. What is your thoughts on the greatest team?
Let's see. Last week we all gave them a 3.
They're now 2-4.
Man, let's see.
Then they did lose the Colts by 6, 16-10 right now.
Yeah, they scored 10 whopping points all in the first half. Nothing in the second half. I mean, Anthony Richardson, the winning quarterback for the Colts, didn't really look that spectacular. But what, Tua should be back in week 8 next week or week 9, I do believe. But I mean, we're looking at current market value. I mean, yeah. I'm not, man.
But let's be honest. Is he going to come back? Like does he?
True. Yeah, is he going to come back as the Tua we're used to?
Yeah. 2, does Tua want to come back? And it's like, oh my goodness, I have to have this much of a handicap. It's like, is it worth it? I'll just take my losses and we'll just go next year.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I want to derive away from a 3 from them, but man, the way they're playing, I mean, how many games have they lost in a row? Dolphins. They've only lost 1 in a row, but before that, I think they lost like 3 in a row or something like that.
Yeah,
man, where they at standing wise? They're not too bad. I mean, 10th place in the conference at the moment.
Yeah, there's only 1 win. It was against the Patriots.
No, they have 2 wins.
Yeah, 2 wins against the Patriots and against a Jaguars team. So it's not.
I shouldn't be too strung up about a team that has a losing record. Oh man. But yeah, current market value from a 3 to a 2, just because the way they played on Sunday.
Yeah, And now Douglas, you're up next. What's your thoughts about the Miami Dolphins? Miami Dolphins looking like they suck.
Chris's hesitation is very valid on this one, because I'm kind of torn because, the logical part of me is sitting here saying, well, they got, Tyreek Hill, they got Jalen Waddle, they got the pieces. But then the reality is the result on the field is just kind of ugly right now. Like, who did they beat? The Patriots? They
beat the Patriots and a Jaguars team.
Yeah, so they only beat a couple of like 1s or 2s.
Yeah, and then literally there's a lot of losses where it's like lost by 20, lost by 22, lost by 19.
This team's tough. Like, this is a team that I'm gonna probably looking to buy in some stock of, because I mean there's greener pastures ahead potentially. But for right now, like Chris said, I'm gonna put them at a 2. Like they're a little bit tough to watch. Like they're pretty rough.
Yeah, and I really feel like this team's a little bit rough. And I still have to, and I know Tua might come back at week 8. But does Tua really want to come back? I mean, I don't know if Tua is just going to say, hey, I want to take my health and just go retire and go to the green pastures. I don't want to be messed up with CTE for the rest of my life. Why?
Well, I think he's already made that decision, it sounds like. Because I think that's what he's been doing, and he's decided that he's going to risk it for the biscuit.
I don't know. I mean, hey, that's his call. Like I said, but are you gonna risk it for like a Dolphins team that's gonna be like? Let's be honest. We're gonna get to week 8. They're 2-4. There's a huge deficit right now for the Dolphins right now, and then you got to play against the Cardinals, then the Bills again, the Rams, Raiders, Patriots, Packers. Okay, there could be a lot of shots.
It sounds like a lot of like close-ish ones with Tua back.
Yeah, but you have to win like 80% of those games to come back to the postseason.
Yeah,
like you cannot have like a clunker loss against the Jets or a clunker loss against like the Browns or the Raiders or the Patriots. You know what I mean? You got to beat up on those bad teams, and I still don't feel confident on that. 2, I don't know if 2 is going to be 100%.
valid.
3, I just don't know how is it going to be like after this. So I think I'm going to have to give them the 2 because, like I said, they're 2-4. They're not looking good. I'm not impressed with this team. They beat a Colt team, but it's not even that great of a Colts. You lost to like a mid quarterback. I'm just saying. So, and now we got to talk about the Indianapolis Colts. So, Douglas, you get to start right over here. What is your thoughts about the Indianapolis Colts, who now won 16-10 and is now, are they theoretically in the playoffs? They would play against Baltimore, though.
What's the record? 4-3?
Yeah, 4-3.
Yeah, like I mean, this team doesn't feel like a playoff team to me. Like I don't know. Like they might gel at some point. I mean, granted, they're also playing without some of their better players. Jonathan Taylor's been sitting out for 3 straight weeks, and they're still getting some W's. But I'm going to put them at a 5. Like I don't know. I don't feel confident in this team. I'm not sure what they're doing with their quarterback situation right now. Like, is it Richardson? Is it Flacco? Like, what you doing?
Yeah, this is like a weird, like, honestly, pick one person. Why are you doing this like back? It feels like the one year when and I love Tom Landry as a Cowboys fan back in the 70s. I was watching a lot during the pandemic, just watching old Cowboys. But it was like when we decided to have Roger Stahl back and then another quarterback in like one quarter and then another quarterback in the second quarter. It's in like the second half. Like, this doesn't make any sense. Just pick one. You know what I mean? You know, I know you might have 2 like okay quarterbacks, but I think it's time for you to pick one. I still think they're going to make the postseason. I think this is going to be a weak postseason for like those wild cards, and I just don't think I think they're going to be one and done. So I'm going to give them the 6 for right now. So, and now Christopher.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with what Doug said. They're not really a playoff team because, I mean, you score 16 points, you're starting quarterback. I mean, heck, at this point, why not keep Flacco in there? I know Anthony Richardson, he wasn't the number 1 overall pick. Was that 2 years ago? Yeah. But, yeah, it's like, why not start Joe Flacco? I know you got to have your young quarterback get the motions and get the rhythm. But, man, Anthony Richardson played not the greatest. But, yeah, I mean, right now they're in the playoffs. They would play the Ravens. So I doubt if that matchup happened right now, playoffs started, they would not beat the Ravens. I'm 100% confident in that. But, yeah, the way the AFC is looking at, there's a lot of good teams. I think Doug mentioned this earlier. A lot of good teams that have winning records, teams that are 5-2 or above. And then it's a huge drop-off, teams that are 2-4 and below. And then there's like four teams that are right there, 4-3, 3-4. And the Colts are right there. But, yeah, right now, current market value, and man, another team I'm torn in between what to do. But right now, they would be in the playoffs, so I'd have to give them a 6.
Ooh, look at that. We got some 6s.
Can I ask you gents a question?
Yes.
So this is about drafting QBs. Do you prefer the strategy? I guess it'd be more like the Buffalo Bills Colts strategy of taking a prospect that hasn't seen a ton of live action and just hoping that like their skill set translates, or do you prefer taking like the more proven winning quarterback that you've seen lots of tape on, and you know that while they don't have all the physical traits, they're like a winner, if that makes sense?
I kind
Like,
of prefer, in my opinion, and this is like, and this is, I always feel like this, and this is probably the problem with like sending the young quarterbacks to like the Lions den. I think honestly, sitting in the bench with a veteran, give him a couple more years, and then once he's ready, let's put him on. That's personally, I feel like that.
well, yeah,
I
that's
think,
good. Like, if you were doing that, would you prefer, like, I guess it'd be like a Baker Mayfield where you saw a bunch of tape, won the Heisman Trophy, or like an Anthony Richardson where he's a super raw product, but he's also huge, fast, has a ridiculous arm? Like, if you're going to develop them like that, do you prefer to take the guy that you know has reps, or do you prefer the guy that has more upside? Are you going floor or ceiling, I guess?
See what I want to happen for the Browns. I don't know if this really answers your question, but Cam Ward for the Miami Hurricanes, man, he's really proven himself as a
Yeah.
great pocket passer, great all around quarterback in the college college season. So he's proving himself based on reps and time out there. I'm trying to think of like what quarterback could fit this description of not really getting the reps. Are you talking about college or are you talking about NFL? Once they reach the NFL level to sit down, learn from the veteran.
So I don't know. I guess like some examples would be like, would you prefer like a Caleb Williams or like a Drake May, maybe? Like I can't think of any good examples this year, but like I think like Baker Mayfield is a guy that just won, but he's kind of shorter. He doesn't have all the arm talent. Then you think of a Josh Allen or an Anthony Richardson who, like, especially Anthony Richardson, like I don't think there was a ton of game tape on him. They drafted him more based on size, speed, and arm strength rather than like game tape of him being an accurate passer. And like Josh Allen didn't really have good tape. So like he like had a lot of turnovers, he like interceptions, but they took him because he was 6'5", can run with a ridiculous arm, and hope that he would develop the QB traits later.
I like where you're going with it, and I have a perfect example. I'd much rather take the guy such as Josh Allen, height, arm strength, someone that could see over the line, someone who has vision, because you have over here 5'11" Bryce Young, Carolina Panthers, and he's been most quarterbacks have been struggling playing with the Carolina Panthers, but Bryce Young, man, he was accurate. He went to Alabama, right, and then Oklahoma, or vice versa.
Yeah, no, it was just Alabama, I think.
He excelled at the collegiate level, but when it comes to the NFL, Carolina, that's a different animal when it comes to quarterbacks and players. But when it comes to when he entered the NFL and started playing, that didn't really show any positive outlook out there.
Exactly. So there's good game tape, but he was just like kind of undersized. Like I don't know. So
yeah.
I mean, I guess we'll see how it goes. Like, it's going to be we're going to see how the Colts go right over here. And now
the Colts with a median of 6. Gotcha.
Yes. And now we got the Seahawks versus the Atlanta Falcons. And unfortunately, I guess the Falcons decided to not get the W, losing by 20 right now.
Oh,
Gentlemen,
man, every time I want to get excited about the Falcons, I do something like this.
Yeah, they lay an egg in this game. And
like I felt real confident that they would beat the Seahawks too. Because like this is a team that's starting to find its rhythm. Kirk Cousins is going. Seattle's reeling, lost 3 straight. And then you get blown out at home. It's just a rough loss.
Yeah, and as of right now, they still would make the postseason. They're still in the driver's seat of the NFC North right now. Where would I put the Falcons?
NFC North?
I'm sorry, the NFC South. I'm sorry. Yes, I blame all these non-alcoholic beers that I'm drinking. Sorry, kids. NFC South. But I think I'm going to probably give them the 6. Plus, they got to play against the Minnesota Vikings, and there's no way you're beating Minnesota right now. There's no way.
Is that the Thursday night game?
No, that would be there if they made a physical.
Oh, that was the playoff game. Who do they? Oh, never mind. No, Minnesota plays on Thursday, but who do they play?
So the Falcons next week play the Buccaneers in an away game for. It's going to be the winner of that game, first place in the NFC South.
The battle of who wants to get first and who doesn't want to be the worst.
But that's for next week. We're talking about the current market value for this week.
Yeah, I think I'm going to give them the 6. Like I said, they're just not looking good. I mean, technically they're on the lead of the NFC South, so I'll give them the 6, but not impressed.
So this might be the one team. We all gave them a 6 last week. Let me cross-check. Yeah, we all gave the Falcons a 6 last week. This might be the one team who's currently in the playoffs. The playoff starts today. They'd be a 4 seed playing at home against the Vikings. But the way they played at home against the Seahawks this past week, only scoring 14 points, giving up 34. Oh man, yeah, I got to put them from a 6 to a 5. I mean, you can't be doing that at home. I mean, I can understand. I would keep them at a 6 if they lost like 21-14. Maybe 24-14, but man, yeah, you lost by 20.
Ooh, so
Can't be doing that expecting to make the playoffs.
So I should ask this, Theodore. Do you think the NFC South division is trash? And you don't even think
no.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, you have Baker Mayfield and the Buccaneers. Yeah, it was that was a blowout. Well, when Lamar Jackson's scoring 5 touchdowns against you, but that's a different story. The NFC South, 2 of the teams are good, 2 of the teams are trash. And let's see if I have. Yeah, you got the Saints and Panthers. Those are the 2 teams are trash. Falcons, Buccaneers. Those 2 teams could actually, the way they're playing record-wise, both those teams could make the playoffs. And I'm pretty sure, at the beginning of or before the season started, we said that only one team from the South was going to make the playoffs. And now there's possibly two teams that can make it. But let's digress.
I like the Falcons odds here a lot. I'll keep them at a 6.
Ooh.
I mean, this week they get to play the Buccaneers again, who just lost their 2 best receivers. And so, like, if they win that game this week, they then hold the tiebreaker over the Buccaneers. They basically, they get to play in a trash division, and they own the tiebreaker with the Buccaneers. It's like they kind of are in the driver's seat if they can beat the Bucs without their 2 best receivers, which I think they'd have a decent shot at right now, but we'll see.
We'll see how it goes. And now it's going to be interesting. So we're now going to the Seattle Seahawks. And now we're going to talk about, for you, Christopher, how do you feel about the Seahawks, who it's kind of been a weird season. I feel like they've been like tipsy-turvy, where it's like, oh, this team looks good. Oh, wait, this team looks bad. But now I feel like this team is doing good. It's been like this confusing team. Now, as of right now, I should emphasize they would make the postseason and they would play against Green Bay Packers.
And Green Bay and the Packers are looking hot. So the Seahawks, they started 3-0. Then they lost 3 straight, 3-3. They actually lost the 49ers
and the
Giants, who are in their own division. But then they whomp on the Falcons to win their 4th game of the season. So yeah, like you said, Stu, they got the high, they got the low, and now they're cruising in the middle. Man, this NFC West is wild because you have the 49ers who were unsuccessful against the Chiefs. Cardinals got that crazy win against the Chargers. Well, and then the Rams, they might be in a league of their own. But the Seahawks, Seahawks last week, we all gave them a 5.
Yes.
Yeah, and right now they'd be a 3 seed in the NFC. Would they beat the Packers? Like I said, the Packers are looking hot. Jordan Love, they're doing work over there in the NFC North. They're 5-2. So yeah, I would put Seattle, go from a 5 to a 6 this week.
Ooh, let's put it that way. Thank you. I do agree with you. But I digress. Douglas, you are next.
I like Chris's take. I think that they're a confusing team, but I like a 6 on this one as well. And anytime you can dominate a possible playoff team on the road like this, you can bump up.
Yeah. Like I said, I feel like this is like a weird team where it's just like it's been a roller coaster, I feel like, for this season, where I'm like, okay, this team looks good. Oh my God, this team looks bad. Now this team looks good. Oh my God, they lost to the Giants. Oh, this team looks like they're crapping. Now they beat the Falcons. It's just like it's a weird like mixture of like a record. I know it's any given Sunday, but it still feels weird. I probably still think they're probably gonna still make the postseason. I mean, I don't think the division is trash, so I don't think it can lower it down to that 5 level. And I feel like I'm probably gonna give them a 6 for right now. So I think for right now, I think Seattle, you're bumping up. But I wouldn't be shocked if I put them down to the 5. Like, that's how I kind of feel like. I feel like this team is either going to be in this mishmash between 5, 6, and 4. I feel like when we get to the season.
Yeah, because next week it's a home game for Seattle, but it's also against one of the top contenders in the AFC, the Buffalo Bills. So next week's going to be an interesting conversation about the Seahawks.
Yeah, they're not beating Buffalo. Let's be honest. They're not going to be Buffalo.
Well, you never know. Like we all said, the Seahawks are wishy-washy.
I know, but I'm not putting some Seahawks stock this week. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I don't think I would not put stock in the Seahawks either.
Yes. And so next we got to talk about the Houston Texans beating out.
Losing to
the Packers by a field goal. Another field goal game. Probably the two best games right there in the week was the Texans versus the Packers right over here. So I guess we'll start with you, Douglas. What is your thoughts about the Texans losing to the Green Bay Packers 22-24?
This was in Lambeau, correct?
This was in Lambeau, and they kicked the field goal right at the last second in Lambeau.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I think it's a game that they probably should have won from what I saw. That being said, they didn't. I think they're the third best team in the AFC right now. But the way the Steelers are looking, that's a different story because them and the Steelers, I think, are the 3-4 pretty easily.
Yes.
So I'll give them a 7. Like I think they'll win a game, but they're maybe the third or fourth best team in the AFC at best.
Yes. And I feel like the same way. Granted, they got close against the Packers on this one. So it wasn't like a blowout. It wasn't like they got destroyed. It was a very close game. Granted, they did lose by a field goal. And I think they could have won this game. So you know what? I give them a lot more credit on this one. So I still feel like that this might even be the best team in all of Texas.
You might think you should know it's the best team in Texas.
I don't want to hear it.
Well, Stu, so the Cowboys, like there was Stephen A. or someone was going off about them today and how they're literally last in the NFL in about every rushing category possible. Terrible, man. Just terrible.
I don't like that. I want my boys.
Trade for Kamara, bro.
Why is the little brother of Texas doing better than us? I'm not having mad at you.
Well, you guys know that the Cowboys had a bye week, so we shouldn't be talking about them. But the Cowboys don't know what they're doing with their running back situation because Ezekiel, he's dried up. He's older. Rico Dowdle, yeah, but that's a conversation for next week when they actually play.
We should have gone all in. We had
Zeke, like I just said, he's dried up, Stu.
I know. It's like Strong Opinion Sports still had it correct. It's like getting back with your ex after a breakup.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, that's how I feel. It's like
yeah. I mean, to be fair, this was like one of the most obvious things in the entire NFL all offseason. It's just funny that it's coming to fruition. The Cowboys stinking.
Yes, but anyway, I guess we'll talk with you, Fyodor. What is your thoughts about the Texans?
So last week you both gave the Texans a 7. You guys are staying there.
Mm-hmm.
Man, last week I had them at an 8, making it to the AFC Championship game. That is decreasing because. I know who I'm going to put in the AFC Championship game, and it's not going to be the Texans. So put the Texans from an 8 to a 7. So 777s right here for our Texans.
Well, and should I say, is it the Baltimore Browns that you're putting as the 8?
Yeah, I don't even know what year we left. 1995 to go to Baltimore. So 1995 Baltimore Browns.
Oh my God! How do you feel if they changed the name to the Baltimore Browns? Just put just to I
think the city of Baltimore or those fans would revolt if they change it from the Ravens to the Browns. The Browns, I don't get intimidated by team names because they're just names. But I mean, when you hear would you guys get more scared over a Raven or whatever the heck a Brown is?
Oh my God.
Like, the Ravens is just always one of the most intimidating, but maybe it's just their play style.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, especially King Henry, who rushed like so many yards on that. But anyway, but I digress. We should not talk about that game right over here until we get to that, when we get to the Monday night games. And now we got to talk about the Packers right over here. So we'll start with Douglas. Go Pack, go. We're going to talk about your rival, the one team that you have hatred in your heart is the Green Bay Packers.
I think it's really the Cowboys at this point, Stu.
What?
My favorite team's not even in the NFC, and I can't stand the Cowboys.
Boo!
You know what's funny, Stu? I don't know if I've ever told you this. When I was a little kid, I was a big Packers fan. I have a Brett Favre signed football somewhere in my closet. For some reason, I just liked the Packers, and I liked Brett Favre a lot as a kid. Like them, and then the Michael Vick led Falcons. Like I had like Michael Vick stuff too. Like those are my two like favorite teams as a kid. And like granted, over time, you go to some Lions games, you become a local fan. But for some reason, I like the Packers. So I have more hatred towards the Cowboys and probably the Bears instead of the Packers.
That's why I hope that Aaron Rodgers does do the Brett Favre strategy. I'm just saying, just do that. It might have inappropriate photos going back to Minnesota and then stealing millions of dollars to the state of California for a volleyball court.
Yeah, I'm sure that's exactly how this will go, Stu.
Yes, I want
that. We digress.
I'm sorry.
All right, guys. Last week we all had the Packers at a 7.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I think they got to stay there. I mean, it's still for me the Lions, Commanders, and Vikings are all probably better than the Packers. And so, like, if I don't see them beating out those teams for the championship game, they can't, unfortunately, fit into a spot that doesn't exist.
Yeah, unfortunately, you got to play one of those tough teams. And honestly, I think the Packers still look good. Honestly, even without Jalen Hurts, Jordan Love, and with Jordan Love now back, they're still looking good. Like, it's crazy to think after week 1, I think we were kind of thinking, oh my goodness, this team might be going downhill. And this team is now still cruising going into 11. And it still frustrates me that the Packers still get good quarterbacks. Can we have a world where
the Cowboys have a good quarterback? They just didn't build around him.
Yes. But can you agree, as a Lions fan, can we live one day when the Packers can have a terrible quarterback?
Hey, Stu, the Lions have had a great quarterback for the last 15 years. I feel it. We've gone from Stafford to Goff. We got it great.
I mean,
with our one NFC Championship appearance, we're living life.
Yeah, I know. But Aaron Rodgers, I'm just saying. Like, if I want to trigger a jersey for Lions fans, it would be Aaron Rodgers.
I mean, I was very heated when he made that Hail Mary against the Lions because it was bogus, bro. It was a bogus call, a bogus penalty that gave him that opportunity. Aaron Rodgers is right up there with the Cowboys and having the refs on his side. Like, straight bogus that he even got the opportunity for that. And then, of course, he hits it, and everybody's like, wow, Rodgers. Called up. I still remember the exact play. It was an absolute bogus face mask on Ndamukong Suh. That, like, literally, like, Rodgers turned his head, and they're like, I must have pulled his face mask. He wasn't even close. I digress, though. Rodgers, boo that man.
And now, he has a new enemy in the right now. But we'll digress when we talk about it. So anyway, I feel like I'm going to give the Packers the 7. They're looking good. Jordan Love is looking great as a quarterback right now. Honestly, this NFC North, I feel like we might have a point where maybe we'll put everybody in the NFC North a 7. It's going to be crazy to think that. Crazy to think that. Am I crazy?
No, so I was telling you earlier, one opinionist said that the 4 best teams in the NFC are in the same division this year.
My God. It is
the only team that can maybe say anything, I think, is the Commanders.
Yeah.
Maybe the Buccaneers, but without Godwin or Evans, they're probably not there anymore.
And that looks kind of a little bit bad. But anyway, Theodore, you're up next. What is your thoughts about the Packers?
Jordan Love returned in week 4. He lost to the Vikings. After that loss, he's now been 3-0. So ever since his return, he's been 3-1. That's pretty impressive. They would play the Commanders in the playoffs if they started today. No, I'm sorry. They'd play the Seahawks. Let me retract my words. They'd play the Seahawks.
And they would.
Seahawks are wishy-washy. We gave the Seahawks a 6, and that fits in well because that means the Packers would get the 7. I don't see the Packers going further than week 1 or round 1 in the playoffs. Yeah, 7 because Jordan Love he's staying hot metaphorically for what he's doing as the quarterback.
And also, random tangent: the Blue Jackets beat the Toronto Maple Leafs 6-2. Let's go.
Also, random tangent: LeBron Sr. and Bronny Jr. They're playing today. Well, I'm not sure if Bronny is actually going to play because he didn't do too well in the preseason. Yeah. But we'll see.
The Nepo babies of the NBA is about to commence.
Ooh, I might actually put on that game after this. That's a good one. Yeah. Lakers Timberwolves, dude. See some Anthony Edwards.
Oh yeah.
We'll see.
He's the MVP. That'd be sick.
Oh yeah.
And now we got to talk about your favorite game of all time: the Cincinnati versus the Cleveland.
I'm glad you kept it as the Clowns. That's great.
Yeah, because honestly, normally I don't. I want to be respectful, but you know what?
No, don't be respectful. The entire organization. Well, not the entire organization.
No, the entire organization. Organization.
No, Stu. Not the entire organization. Nick Chubb is not a clown. Myles Garrett's not a clown. There's some other players that aren't clowns either, but the guys up wearing the suits and ties, they are clowns.
I mean, should Jimmy Haslam dress up as a clown?
He won't do that unless he's at a Halloween party. Because he's a billionaire, so I don't think he'll be dressed up as a clown. But should he? Yeah, he should be dressing up as a clown every single week.
I always joke. I feel like Jimmy Haslam is like Jerry Jones if Jerry Jones never won a Super Bowl.
I mean, it's hard to compare the two.
Yeah, but if we went into the era post, he doesn't win a Super Bowl, and it's just scandal and badness. Honestly, I will still laugh.
Dude, is he the new Ford family?
I think he's been the Ford family. I think honestly, he might be the 3 worst owners. I think him and the Panthers owner. I think I might put him in the top 2 worst owners in the NFL right now. Just a sense of ineptitude.
And so I think we should do a separate video on teams owners because I think.
Should we do that as an off season? Should we do that?
I feel like you should do that. I feel like you should break down every team and their owner. Because I feel like I never know anything about the owners, and you're always like, "Yeah, this dude's a piece of trash."
That had to be like a 4-week episode. How their company's running, what they own, all that stuff. How they're running the team.
Exactly. Let me know how they made their money. I want a full breakdown. I want to understand these guys.
Anyway. We're going to start with you, Christopher, because you love your Browns, and you are so sad that
I'm crying right now.
You're crying that they lost 21-14.
Give them a 0. No. We all gave a 1 last week, and we're going to continue with a 1 because, my goodness, oh, man.
Also, Deshaun Watson is out for the year. Do you feel any
this season? He might never play another snap in the Cleveland Browns uniform.
And I think I'm going to say this. I think honestly, just because of that snap and that injury, is this the worst trade for the Cleveland Browns? Trading everything for the kitchen sink for Deshaun Watson and pay him that contract.
What did they give up for him, Stu? Did they give up multiple first rounders?
I think it might have been a couple.
Yeah, I think we gave two years worth of first rounders, a couple second rounders. Yeah, all of the Houston Texans. They had
look at that. The Texans are getting so good. And they were like, yeah, we got a problematic quarterback. Have it, Cleveland.
So I was at this game. I was not present when Deshaun got injured. I was actually using the facilities. And I was hearing the cheering. I was like, "Oh, the Browns must have scored a touchdown." Got back to my seats. I go to the game every year with my cousin, who's a Bengals fan. My cousin goes, "Yeah, Deshaun's injured." I thought he was being sarcastic. He's being truthful. I was like, "Man, no kidding." So it's we weren't cheering. Well, there might have been fans that were cheering because of his injury. If I was present in the stands when he got injured, I, in fact, would have been cheering, not because he got injured, but because now we have to have a new starting quarterback. And Stefanski and Haslam wouldn't budge on starting a new quarterback. But, yeah, the entire offensive line, garbage. Our defense, we're supposed to have the best defense in the league. I'm not sure how we're ranked based on defenses, but we're definitely probably not top 5, and we should be number 1 or number 2. It's a mess in Cleveland. Mistake on the lake, the factory of sadness. Bring it all to me, because that's what we are. So yeah, easy number 1 for the Cleveland Clowns.
And it's funny 'cause on Facebook.
Let the rebuilding start again.
So that's why you guys should trade Myles Garrett to the Lions, because here's what you guys gave up for Deshaun Watson. In case we were wondering, it's worse.
I'm wondering.
Worse than we thought. So the quarterback, and they gave up a 6th round pick. So that's what you guys got. You guys got a 6th round pick in Deshaun for the 2022 1st round and 4th round, 2023 1st and 3rd round, 2024 1st and 4th round, and an entirely guaranteed $230 million contract.
Nice. So 3 first rounders. All right. Good job, Brian.
That was the worst. And I got to ask this. You've been a Cleveland Browns fan for your entire life, Christopher. Is this the
100%? There was years when I was a teenager, so my mind was running stupidly, where I was like, oh yeah, the Steelers are playing good, but like when you're a teenager, your mind's not right. So yeah, I've been a Browns fan my entire life.
Is this the worst trade you ever seen in your entire life?
Well, I mean,
how many times are you gonna ask that question?
I got to know. I
think pretty clearly it's one of the worst trades of all time.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't. I don't know any other trade that would even come remotely.
Oh, that's a good question.
One of the draft picks. This will make you feel good. One of the draft picks was Will Anderson, the star edge from Alabama.
Is he a star? Like was he?
Yeah, he was like the number 4 pick a couple years ago. Like it was C.J. Stroud, then him.
Is he still around?
Oh yeah, he's a stud. He's a
stud. Kidding. Oh, nice.
Yeah, Browns gear.
Will Anderson, man, he's put up numbers.
I mentioned it earlier. Browns number 1. I hope they get the number 1 pick overall. That'd be sweet. I do not want Shadur Sanders, and I swear to God, if Andrew Berry drafts him, that'd be another mistake on his part. You should go. If we're going quarterback, get Cam Ward from the Miami Hurricanes.
No.
But we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Because the Browns play the Ravens next week, and I can't imagine we're going to be going away from the number 1 stock option here, stock value.
I'm sorry, Theodore. You're getting Shedeur Sanders. I'm just saying it. I'm manifesting that. And then
if I had to pick between Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter, give me Hunter.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Because he can play defense, he can play offense. He's not going to do both in the NFL, but we're going to get someone good.
You're getting somebody good. And
Shedeur is only quarterback.
Yeah, you're going to get Shedeur Sanders, and you're going to get Deion Sanders.
Here's what the Cleveland should do, like in kind of a joking way, like throw like a 6th round draft pick and go get Bryce Young. Like just do something,
on, dude.
Like try it out, man. Then maybe you guys have a really cheap quarterback that's kind of a bust. You're rebuilding anyway, so then you can get a Travis Hunter. You get a lot of really good players. And then either Bryce Young works or he doesn't. And then you still get a quarterback in like 2 years with talent around him.
Archie Manning. That'd be the draft class of 2026.
Exactly.
What about what do you want? What about the Texas quarterback? Would you want him?
You say Quinn Ewers? No way, Stu.
You would not want Quinn Ewers?
Arch Manning's the way better NFL prospect.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. And now, Douglas, what is your thoughts about the Cleveland Clowns?
Oh, man. For the sake of, I feel like I've smack talked them enough. I'm sorry, Chris. I'll just give them a 1. Like, they trash.
Smack talk all you want. I do not mind.
No, I mean, it's rough. Like, this is one of the most disappointing teams in the league. Like, we all thought they'd be good. Maybe Deshaun would turn the corner, and he went out and was the worst quarterback in the league.
Honestly, I think the first, and I guess I would be next. First of all, karma's a mofo. Sorry, Cleveland. You deserve all the pain and suffering for ownership, not the Browns fans. Ownership for laying your bed with the devil, with Deshaun. You deserve all this suffering. Sorry, Brownies fans. Number 2, this team is trash. You talked about that this was the top 5 defense. I think this might be April Fool's Day. I think, honestly, don't you mean the bottom 5 defense right now in Cleveland? Like, this doesn't look good. You already gave up like 20. It was 21-14, but let's be honest, you got a touchdown in garbage time. Congratulations, you got a garbage time touchdown. It don't matter. This team is garbage. This quarterback is a trash. He's a trash quarterback, trash human being. Honestly, I'm hoping this is his last snap, and I honestly think you deserve all the pain and suffering, and you deserve a 1 for what you.
Wait, sir, you're saying Deshaun deserves all the pain and suffering?
Yes.
Ooh, man. Seems like you would have been one of those fans that were cheering for his injury.
Oh, I would. Know what?
Not because the outcome of the injury was a new starting quarterback.
Oh my God! When I was on Red Zone with like my friends at a bar, and I was like watching the game. And then I said, "Oh, Deshaun Watson." So I was like, "Yes, let's go!" And it's like, "Hey," and then everyone else was like, "Oh, you shouldn't make fun of like that quarterback that was going to be hurt." And I was like, "Oh boy, I got a story to tell you. If you think that guy should get sympathy." I'm just saying, they deserve all the pain and suffering. And now, speaking of pain and suffering, the Philadelphia Eagles decided.
Sir, we got to talk about the Bengals, bro.
Oh yeah, sorry, I forgot about the Bengals.
Jeez, Stu.
I know. I'm sorry. I was too much in my Browns talk. We were talking about that. Now this is gonna be interesting. So the Bengals are now 3-4,
and we all gave a 3 last week.
They did beat but I guess we'll start with you, Douglas. What is your thoughts about the Cincinnati Bengals? They are not making the playoffs as of right now. And how do you feel about them?
What did I give them last week?
We all gave them a 3.
Yeah, I'll give them a 4. Like, I think, just like look at how good their offense is. Their offense is starting to click. We all know that they've done this before, where they kind of start off slow, get hot. Like, I'm liking what I'm feeling. Like, there's maybe something brewing here. Granted, I mean, it was just a 7-point win over a really bad team, but like, I'll still bump them up.
Yes, and now I'm up next. I mean, I was kind of thinking the 3 originally, but then I'm like looking at this like the teams that are left, and it's like you got Dolphins, Raiders, and they're all 2-5 and 1-5, and I feel like it's like, okay, Bengals are not that bad. So you know what? I think you convinced me up to the 4. I mean, granted, it's not an impressive win. You did barely beat the Browns, who are not that good. Let's be honest. Like, I know, Chris, you even agreed that this team is trash. So honestly, I feel like this is like a 4. So we'll see how it goes. Now, Christopher, you're up next. How do you feel about the Cincinnati Bengals, your favorite team of all?
I mean, they're not my least favorite team. I know you go with sarcasm when you say my favorite team, but I mean, I'd much rather dislike the Steelers and the Ravens over the Bengals. Bengals, they're still an Ohio team. If they were to make the playoffs and the Browns didn't, which I doubt the Browns will, I'd root on the Bengals. But nonetheless, I would almost give the Bengals a 5. Let me don't put it down yet.
Whoa!
Jamar Chase, 18-yard touchdown reception. T. Higgins, 25-yard touchdown reception. Yeah, like Doug said, Bengals are starting to get back into their form. And right now, they would be just missing the playoffs at the current moment, which is a 5. So, yeah, this is a tough one between a 4 and a 5. Because obviously they're going to jump up from a 3, as you guys all have agreed so far. The big test is going to be at home next weekend against the Eagles. Eagles, they would still miss the playoffs, but that's another discussion. So yeah, based on the way they're doing, I'm not putting them at a 5 because they would just miss the playoffs and they're looking pretty good to move forward. and to jump into that consideration to be making the playoffs. But current market value, they will not be making the playoffs at the moment. So, yeah, I'm comfortable with a 5.
Oh.
But, you guys, the median is a 4 for the Bengals.
All right, we got a 4 and 5. And now we got to talk about the Philadelphia Eagles. Eagles die. In my opinion, beat the lonely, sad.
So we're going to talk about the Giants before the Eagles, baby.
I know.
Yeah, I'll say, why do we have to just trash on the Eagles? They look great.
What was that? They want those Giants.
I know they want the Giants, but it's not really saying much. I'm just gonna be straight up with you. Also, like I said, Daniel Jones, unfortunately, for all the sad Giants fans, decided to bench Daniel Jones in this game also, which that does not look good. We lost 23-5. I mean, what do I say?
28-3, but they're close enough.
28-3. I mean, granted, there's some teams that can come back from a 28-3, and then there's the New York Giants who 28-3. I think honestly, this team's a 2. This team does not look good. I think last week I gave him the 2.
Yeah, Doug, Stuart, you and I gave him a 2. Doug gave him a 3.
They're the second worst team in the NFC, and it's not really saying that much. I mean, let's be honest. You lost 20 against an Eagles team, who I don't think is that good. So that says more how bad the Giants are than how good the Eagles are. So now I'll start with you, Christopher.
Yeah, we'll continue with me. I'll keep them at 2 because I already gave enough teams a 1. Plus, they have 2 wins, so you can't really give them a 1. Their starting quarterback, Daniel Jones, like you guys mentioned, got benched. The quarterback, Daniel Jones, didn't even throw for over 100 yards at home. Gave up 28 points at home. I know it's the Eagles, who are a pretty good-looking team at the moment. But, yeah, Giants, I'll keep them at it 2 because, yeah, they're just looking – they're looking not good.
Yeah, I agree. 2 for me as well. They bad.
They're bad.
League neighbors came back. There wasn't a spark there. They missed Saquon, Stu.
I miss Saquon. I miss Saquon too.
Maybe these running backs aren't just a dime a dozen, like you've said before, Stu.
Yeah.
Maybe the running back does mean something still.
Yeah, it does mean something if we can win games. And now, I guess we'll start with you, Christopher.
Sure, yeah, go for it.
So as of right now, they would miss the playoffs as of right now. They are in the winning record, but like I said, they're the 8th seed right now.
And this works in perfectly because I did give the Falcons a 5, and I did mention that the Falcons were probably the only team that are making the playoffs at the moment that I would have missing the playoffs. And this is a team, the Falcons. Let's see, what did we give what did we give the Eagles last week? Stuart gave them a 5, Doug and I gave them a 6. Yeah, the way they clicked this it's the Giants. Should have been an easy win, and it clearly was. Yeah, they would not be making the playoffs if the playoffs started today. Right now, they're the 8th seed, but they're playing better than I'd say the Falcons. So, in my opinion, I'll keep them at a 6 because it's just the way they're functioning as a team. And yeah, that NFC East right now they're in 2nd place. Yeah, the Cowboys play this upcoming week. They had a bye. We'll see if the Cowboys can even win to make that 2nd place in the division a little bit closer. I'm not sure who the Eagles play next week. It doesn't matter, but I'm going to keep them at a 6 for me. Oh, that's right. The Eagles play in Cincinnati. So we can revisit this conversation next week pending that outcome. That should be a good game.
All right, Douglas, you're next.
Please
don't give him a 7.
Why would I give him a 7 still?
Yeah,
well, honestly, maybe, but
no.
You guys said they're number 8 in the division, right?
They're number 8 as of right now.
Yeah, number 8 in the conference.
Yeah, so not the division. That'd be silly.
Yeah, that'd be a really big division.
Yeah. I mean, I think they're sitting at 4-2 though. That's darn nice. I mean, there's definitely a 6 for me. 7, I don't know about that, but nice 6.
Yeah, I mean, this team's kind of been a little bit frustrating here and there. They did look a lot better. Okay, and I'm trying to get Eagles hatred out of the side. Eagles bias out of the side. My always complaint is I always felt like that last year and this year they're barely beating teams or losing to like random clunker teams right over here. This is probably their only team where they actually were decisively winning the game. It was a decisive win instead of like a loss or like barely beating a team or like last week when they barely beat the Browns by like 4 points, which I was not impressed. But they do look a little bit better. I'll still give them the 5, but I still feel like they're still iffy because it is against a Giants team that's mid. But I do feel like this is a much more stronger 5 than last time I put them in there. And
All right.
yeah, so I can't believe I had to talk about how good the Eagles are. And now, speaking of good teams, the Raiders versus the Rams, where the Rammies decided to get a win against the Raiders. And so I guess I will start off. Actually, Douglas, you want to start off first. What's your thoughts about the Vegas Raiders?
Give us Max Crosby. Give us Max Crosby. That's I was just reading an article about how apparently I didn't realize Crosby went to Eastern Michigan right here in the great state and grew up in Michigan. They said he wants to be a Raider, but there's kind of some rumors that he might leave. Not important. But this team's trash. They just got rid of Devontae. They might get rid of Crosby. They don't know what they're doing at quarterback. They lost pretty bad too, didn't they, to the Rams? What was the score?
I think it was like 15-20.
Yeah, they did not have a touchdown. It's like it was all field goals.
Oh, God.
The Rams had 4 turnovers. Well, the Raiders had 4 turnovers.
2 last week? Is that what I had them at?
Yeah, 3.
Yeah, we all gave them a 2 last week. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I mean that's fair. Like I still think there's a couple teams worse than them, but this team is big bad.
2-5 right now. So what are you going to give them, Douglas?
2.
Two team is so much. All right, I figured I had to do. Gardner Minshew looks like he's mid. I don't know what you're supposed to do. I feel like this is probably like preseason. I kind of felt like this team was going to be kind of bad, and I feel like this season has reinforced why I think this team is kind of bad. Like I don't think really anything has changed. I don't think they look really good. They only kicked field goals. They're 2-5. They're probably in the bottom of that heat of like turd sandwich of the AFC. Like I'm gonna give them the 2. This team has not been impressive right now. Gardner Minshew has not been impressive. He's regressing since last year. Like I've not been impressed right now. So we'll start with you, Christopher. What is your thoughts about
We'll finish with me for this team. Keep them at 2. Yeah, it was an away game. Yeah, you're kicking 5 field goals. You're not going to win a game more than likely if you're kicking nothing but field goals, no touchdowns. Like Doug said, they got rid of Devontae Adams because he wants to go play with Aaron Rodgers again. Seems like Doug knows more than us about Max Crosby wanting to leave. So it seems like those, just like the Browns, the Raiders are definitely imploding more than likely. Aiden O'Connell, I think he's a rookie or a second year, but he got injured. So back to Gardner Minshew, starting for the Raiders. Yeah, things are not looking up for that team from Paradise, Nevada.
Yeah, it's not looking good right over here. And now we got to talk about the Rammies. So I guess I'll go first about the Rams. They're now 2-4. It is crazy to think that they still kind of look bad. And really their only wins against is like 49ers team who kind of looks kind of mid. And this team, I'm not really impressed. They only beat this team by like 5. The last week I gave them a 3, correct?
We all gave the Rams a 2 last week.
Are they a 3? I think there's a lot of clunkers in the 2 and that 1. And there's that clunker pile. I guess I'll move them up to a 3, but it's not an impressive 3 in my opinion. So that's what I'm probably putting them.
Yeah, I'll give him a 3 as well. I mean, I'm not sure. Cooper Kupp, I think he's returning this week.
You can scoop for the Coops.
But yeah, they're playing. Well, they're playing at home, but it's against the Vikings, so that's going to be a game within itself. I'm not sure when Puka Nakua is going to be returning. Doesn't seem like it's going to be this week, but yeah, they can get Cooper Kupp back. Is Blake Corum, is he still being a productive running back for the Rams, or who's their? Oh, they have Kyron Williams. Okay, I forgot. Yeah, Kyron Williams right now MVP for the Rams. He's having a heck of a year at running back. Feel bad for Matt Stafford because your team's 2-4. Yeah, I'm comfortable with 3.
And now, Douglas, your favorite quarterback that you used to love, Mr. Stafford, is now 2-4.
Stu. I mean, no, I'm not going to say that.
What are you about to say?
It feels like we were in like a relationship. That was like it was okay, but like we knew that it just wasn't quite right in our hearts. Like we might have a lot of love, but we know that to be our best selves, we need to move on. And so that's what we did, Stu. So no hard feelings. He did what was best for him, but we knew that we wouldn't truly be our best selves if we stayed in this relationship. So we moved on. And now, look at us now. The Rammies are kind of tanking. Granted, they won their Super Bowl. So hopefully we can win our Super Bowl. And it's one of the best trades of all time. Both teams won a Super Bowl. But that being said, this team right now, they're a 3. They're decent. If they get some players back, they scare some teams. When they were healthy in week 1, they took the Lions to overtime. But they've been just incredibly banged up. Sean McVay still knows how to coach. But, if they get healthy, they might be a team that could make a push. But they also might be a team that starts trading guys away.
Yeah, I think it's time to trade them away. Let them fly away, Mr. Rams. It's not looking good. And now, speaking of teams that look really bad, the Carolina Panthers absolutely got curb stomped against the
Commanders.
7-40 right now. Oh my God. And Andy Dalton did not look good in this game. It's not looking good. Like, I guess we'll start with you, Christopher. What do you think about these Panthers? Are they still the clunker 2s? I feel like this is hard.
Yeah, I gave number 1s to 3 teams already. Can't do it again. We all gave the Panthers a 2 last week, even though they're playing like absolute garbage. And then Andy Dalton, I doubt it's going to affect if he's going to start next week, but he got in a car accident today. There was not a single time in this game where the Panthers had a percentage of a winning option. It was all Commanders. You pretty much start off the game with a 67-yard interception return in favor of the Commanders. Panthers didn't score till the fourth quarter. Chuba Hubbard, he's probably the best one on the team at the moment. Man, I would love to give him 1, but I don't think I could do it because I already gave 3 other teams the 1. Panthers are going to play the Broncos in Denver next week, Mile High. Like, there might be so many number 1 teams next week. I don't even know what to do with them all.
It's a lot. We got to figure out who's clunky. Who's
bad? If or when the Panthers lose next week, then I might have to consider giving 4 teams the number 1, which is unheard of. But yeah, Panthers at it too.
My God, we're giving out these 1s like it's candy right now. We're just like, you get a 1. We're like Oprah in the car. This team gets a 1. This team gets a 1. This team gets a 1. Everyone gets 1s.
Well, speaking of that, give me a 1, Stu. This team's
You think this and let's just defend yourself and why the Carolina Panthers are this bad. And David Tepper, the worst owner in the NFL right now.
Well, Stu, like I said earlier, I know nothing about the owners. What I do know is that we had the one fun week of Andy Dalton, and since then, this team has just been straight trash.
Yeah, that's the only Panthers win is via Andy Dalton.
Yeah,
who are they going to go quarterback this upcoming week?
Yeah, like this team is sitting there. They only have 1 win on the season. Like they bad.
Yeah, like this team looks really bad. If I'm looking at their losses, they lost to the Commanders by 34, lost to the Falcons by 18, lost to the Bears by 26, lost to the Bengals by 10, They did beat the Raiders. That doesn't really say much. Lost to the Chargers by 23, and then lost to the Saints by 37. There's only been one game that's been close, and it's not even that close by 10 points. Every other game's been a blowout. Oh God, I honestly did I give out 2 1s, gentlemen? Because you know what, Douglas? This team deserves the 1.
Nice.
Yeah.
This is atrocious. I feel like that this team deserves the 1 because I feel like, in my opinion of the 1, I think the 1 is your season's done and you're just getting blown out even by bad teams. You know what I mean? It's not been competitive. My goodness. And now we got to talk about the Commanders, who absolutely curb stomped them. But now the quarterback might be out for a little bit. And I guess we'll start with you, Christopher. How do you feel about the Washington Commanders right now?
He's day to day,
Yeah.
and Jane Daniels is day to day, week to week, what have you. But yeah, for the Commanders, still being able to pull a win by 33.
Good job,
Marcus
Mariota.
Marcus Mariota from the University of Oregon.
My God, I did not know that man is still in the league.
Yeah, right. But he did well, man. He had 2 touchdowns. So let's see. Last week we gave the Commanders looks like a 6. They'd be playing the Bears in the postseason if they were to start today. And if they could win without Jane Daniels, I know it's against the Panthers. It's at home. Oh man, but if they can put that together, and if Jane Daniels is out, next week, I'm not sure. Let's see who the Commanders play next week, real quick. Let's see this. Commanders are playing. They're playing the Bears, and it's at home. It's like a preview of the playoffs if they were to start today. That's gonna be a cool game.
Yes.
I would take the Commanders, bump them from a 6 to a 7.
Oh my God, we live in a world where the Commanders are a 7. Oh my God, what world do we live in?
What did I give the Vikings? I gave them a 7, right?
Yeah, you give the Vikings a 7, and they would play against
because I wanted to give the Commanders an 8. They're amazing.
You really want to give them an 8?
I want to give them an 8, Stu. I think they're wonderful. I've been saying for weeks, Jaden Daniels, man, this is the only team that scares me in the NFC. Like, that I truly wouldn't be shocked. Mobile, amazing, young quarterback. Like, they're just, they're doing what good teams do, Stu. They're beating everybody. They're beating them thoroughly. They lost to Baltimore, but who can fault them for that? Baltimore might be the best team in the NFL.
And they lost to the Buccaneers.
And they lost to the Buccaneers. That one, the Lions also lost to the Buccaneers. The Buccaneers
now that kind of looks bad because the Buccaneers kind of down. But I digress. We're not talking about the Buccaneers.
But yeah, the Buccaneers don't have Mike Evans. They don't have Chris Godwin. They're banged up a little bit, but we digress. Commanders, one of the best teams in the NFC.
I honestly can't give the Commanders an 8. They're not better than the Vikings. But you know what? I still think they're a better team, and they would probably play against the Bears. I think they could beat the Bears. As long as Jaden Daniels still plays, they're still going to be good. I'm going to give them the 7 for right now. Can't believe it. I have to give the Commanders, the Washington Commies right now, the 7 right now. What world do I live in?
Oh, Stu, bad news.
What?
Kamara just signed an extension with the Viking or with the Saints.
No!
Yeah!
No!
He wanted to be traded.
No, you know what, guys? All right.
Our casual attempt at starting trade speculation failed.
You're come back. We have so many more games to cover. Hurry up.
Anyway, gentlemen. We got the Kansas City Chiefs beating up the 49ers right there in the preview of the Super Bowl. That's probably not going to be the Super Bowl this year. Next year, I'm just saying. And I guess we'll start with I guess I'll start it right now. So the 49ers, I think last week we gave them the 6, and now they're crashing down. They're technically ranked 11 right now. That's a crazy part to think about that. They lost to the Chiefs by 10, 28-18. Oh man. I think honestly, this might be my loser of the week. I honestly feel like that this team's not looking good. I think I'm putting them down to the 4. I just don't feel impressed with the 49ers right now. I honestly do think the 49ers could lose to the Cowboys. And that's not really saying much. That's not saying good about the Cowboys. That just says bad about the 49ers.
Well, Stu, like another team we're just talking about, this is a team that also has banged up. They're really banged up right now. Brandon Ayuk out for the season.
Yeah, Deebo Samuel, he left the game.
Yeah. So, I mean, you might be right. The Cowboys might have a chance because this team's depleted.
And speaking of Cowboys, 49ers, they play this upcoming week. So that'll be a great.
That's why it's kind of. I totally forgot about that, but like I said,
it's in Santa Clara, California. So we'll see. But yeah, man, 49ers. We all gave them a 6 last week. Yeah, like Doug was saying, they're pretty banged up. I mean, is Christian McCaffrey ever going to return in the regular season?
I think week 8 or week 9 as of right now.
Oh, you think he's going to come back against the Cowboys? That'd be a bumper.
Looking at our medians, we haven't given a lot of 4s or 5s. And based on the way it's trending for the 49ers, they're not close to making the playoffs. I mean, in their division, they're close, but Seahawks might be running away with that one. Asterisk next to what I just said. So, yeah, I'm going to go from a 6 to a 4 because I don't think the 49ers will come close to making the playoffs like a 5 is. Yeah, Ayuk's out for the season. Deebo Samuel, he's day-to-day because he was only out for an illness. That's why he left the game. So he should be back. George Kittle, he got injured on Sunday as well. And then if McCaffrey comes back, cool. But yeah, Brock Purdy had both the touchdowns for the 49ers on yesterday. So, yeah, you got to have more offensive weapons than that.
All right. Now we got Theodore. Now, Douglas, what is your thoughts about this 49ers? I can't believe their stock is going down, and we're looking around.
I mean, it is, but also just looking at the division that they play in, like this is a team that just a week ago we thought was number 1 in the division. So, like, I think I'm going to keep them at a 5. They still have a lot of great pieces. I mean, I still think that they'll beat the Cowboys this week, be right there within a game of their division. And, yeah, I think that this team has a little bit too much talent to completely flatline. Mm-hmm. I think I looked at their schedule a moment ago, too, and I think that there's some games that they should win there.
Mm-hmm. Can't believe it. And now we're going to have Christopher get to start. And now this is going to be the good question when we get to talk about it. Kansas City Chiefs, the only 6-0 team as of right now that is undefeated.
Easy. I mean, we all gave them a 9 last week. You can't – they beat – I mean, it's not really – they won by 10 on the road to a team that we thought was going to be a Super Bowl contender in the 49ers. Obviously, they're roughed up, blah, blah, blah. Great. Chiefs, yeah, we all gave them a 9 last week. We can't digress or step away from a 9. So, yeah, continue to give the Chiefs a 9. It was actually a game, from what I saw, it was a game that the refs did not help them. So they actually won a game fair and square. So, yeah, they whomped on the 49ers. So, yeah, a 9.
Now, Douglas, this is going to be the interesting question. You have given 8s the whole time, and the whole season right now.
That's right. Yeah, Doug gave him an 8. Sorry, Stu and I gave him a 9.
Yeah, you have
I'm glad that I did because I didn't want to have to move them down. I honestly think that them versus the Ravens is too much of a toss-up for me to say guaranteed win for the Chiefs. Like, the way the Ravens are playing, if those teams played again, I would pick the Ravens every time.
Yeah, they're scary.
And, like, granted, that's a little bit dramatic because the Chiefs know how to win. But I think that if it was played on a neutral field, I think that the Ravens, man, with Derrick Henry rolling, like, that team just looks dominant. I mean, the Chiefs are 6-0, though, and they won the Super Bowl. So it's like you want to give them the 9, but also, like, they were real. The Ravens-Chiefs game was crazy close. I mean, it's a single toe in Arrowhead. The Ravens play right with them there in week 1. And since then, the Ravens have looked like one of the 2 best teams along with the Chiefs. I'm going to stay at an 8 just because I don't know. It's still a toss-up to me.
This is always going to be the good question. Will you give the Kansas City Chiefs? That's not until the Super Bowl or playoffs. Are you going to give them a 9 one time?
I mean, if the Ravens falter, then maybe. But like the way
the Ravens lose to the Browns next week, I think Doug might have to put the Chiefs.
Yeah. If the Ravens lose a silly game like that, then yeah, sure.
At home? No. I'm sorry. It's in Cleveland. The Ravens. Yeah.
Still,
No disrespect. I am starting the Ravens defense against the Browns this week.
So honestly, fantasy, I guess cheat tip, wherever. If there's a team defense available and they're playing the Browns, pick them up.
man, we knew Adam Schefter right here.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So,
Anyway,
my own Browns heart that I bleed orange and brown with.
I think honestly, Patrick Mahomes is looking good. They're still looking good. They're the only team that's 6-0 right now. I still think this team could definitely win the Super Bowl. I'm not lowering that team now. Like I said, they're 6-0, and they're still good. They're still being dominant.
Agrees with you, gentlemen. I watched Pat McAfee say the Chiefs gonna chief.
Yeah,
he was on the Kelsey Brothers podcast saying the Chiefs gonna chief, man.
Sure, I love how you said that Mahomes is looking good, and this guy threw 2 interceptions, only 150 yards. It was pretty much all Kareem Hunt. He had 2 touchdowns.
Okay, Kareem Hunt did look good, but they're still winning games. Yeah,
you can't. Yeah, what they're making ish happen.
Anytime you win in San Francisco, you're doing something right.
Yeah, you can still have a couple bad dives, and you still win games. You know what? You're still good in my heart. Like, I will tell you that. And now we got to talk about the New York Jets losing to
Jets. Jets.
They decide the JETX Jets.
LOSE, lose.
Yes. And then, did you hear about this? I'll start this from gentlemen. Did you hear about this press conference that Aaron Rodgers talked about on Monday Night Football, where he talks about where a reporter asked him, "Hey, do you have any plans to improve this team?" And he says, "1, I'm not going to listen to you guys in the media." 2, yeah. What a guy, man. What a guy, Mr. Rodgers. It's like, oh my God. That's not good. Like, honestly, the Jets look like they're awful. And it's so funny because I even have people have been telling me, oh, the Jets look good. The Jets are going to come back. The Jets are going to look. I don't see it. This team looks like they're trash. And this team looks bad.
Stu, you just gotta look through the product on the field like you do with the Cowboys and just say that they're good. Okay? Just treat this team
at one point during the game, the Jets had an 80% chance of winning in the first half. So let's not say they're terrible because they're looking pretty good.
They still lost. They still lost.
Yeah, true.
It's not saying much. I don't care. You lost. And you know what? Let's look at the second half. You know how many points they scored? Goose egg. 0. Like, honestly, I'm not impressed with this Jets team. I honestly think that this one, they deserve a 2 just because of this failure of the team. I'm just not impressed with this Jets team. And honestly, also, it sucks that Aaron Rodgers is going to go after the media, the press media. And I feel like this is one of those coaches that literally argues with reporters and about to get fired, like the Chargers. Like Ron, what was the one? Oh, the Chargers coach that was getting mad at reporters. Like, I know the defensive plays. I know all this stuff. It's like, yeah, you know, when you're arguing with the reporters right now and your team's kind of being bad, that's not looking good.
Yeah.
So, Stuart last week gave him a 3. Doug and I gave the Jets both a 4. Yeah, the way they're playing, current market value, quick and easy. I'll give them a 2.
Woo! Thank you. Come on, Doug.
It's unfortunate because I picked the Jets last week and my stock options. So that just decreased.
Your stocks are tanking right now, gentlemen.
I'll keep them at a 3. I think the Devontae Adams trade is interesting. We'll see how that gels. They're still a bad team. They're still a team. Hassan Reddick just came out of his contract dispute. They got Devontae. Breece Hall's getting on a rhythm. I think that there's something there. It's just not quite clicking yet.
Yeah, it's not quite clicking, and we'll see how it goes. And now we got to talk about Chris's favorite team, the Pittsburgh Steelers, who are now theoretically in the wild card right now. They are now 5-2. Who would have thunked it? Russell Wilson started this game and is now winning in this game as a Pittsburgher. I know we're having a little bit of a quarterback controversy. Should it be Justin Fields or should it be Russell Wilson right now? So we'll start with you, Christopher. What are your thoughts about the Pittsburgh Steelers?
Yeah, I mean, we gave Buffalo a 7, and that's who Pittsburgh would be playing in the playoffs. We gave them all Pittsburgh a 6 last week, so I'm going to keep them at a 6, even though they embarrassed the Jets. The game was still in Pittsburgh. Yeah, 6, I'm comfortable with 6 for the Steelers.
And I will say, how many draft picks would you trade away to get Mike Tomlin as your head coach?
You asked that question. I don't think you could trade draft picks for a coach.
But how is
today? But it's a common question.
How much?
Stu, we're already approaching 2 hours. You asked the question last week. Get out.
Yeah, all right.
You
can't repeat questions back-to-back weeks. Save for next week.
All right.
We're already pushing 2. I'll give them a 7.
Ooh.
I think that they're a really solid team. I mean, they're a team that just knows how to win, and now they're starting to get some talent. They just dominated the team. They won by 22. They're 5-2, so they're one of the better teams in the league. We'll learn a lot when they get to play like the Ravens and some of these other teams, but I don't know. I like this team.
Yeah,
they're starting. I'm starting to see something with them. Like TJ Watt is just a game wrecker. They know how to win. They're getting their kind of confidence going.
I'm going to give them the 6 for right now. I definitely do like the Pittsburgh Steelers. They're looking good. They're looking okay. I mean, they're still I don't know if they can beat Buffalo. I still think Buffalo's a better team, but I'll give Tomlin credit for having 2 quarterbacks that you feel like were mid or washed up, and they're still 5-2. You got to give that man a credit for that. Granted, they had the weapons and all that stuff, but you agree, it's impressive that they're 5-2 right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right, Fyodor?
That's right.
Mm-hmm. And now we got the 2 final games. The Baltimore Ravens beating up the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 41-31. It was almost like a blowout at this point. It was not really a close game, to be honest with you. It was pretty much kind of like a mediocre bad game. So we'll start with Douglas. What is your thoughts about the Buccaneers, who have been sliding down and I think as having some recession issues? They're now 4-3 right now. They would not make the playoffs. What do you think about the Buccaneers?
I'll keep them at a 6.
We all gave them a 7 last week. Like it.
Yeah, granted, they're technically outside the playoffs, but with some of the wins that they've had this year, they've already got a W over the Commanders and the Lions. I think it's kind of unfortunate with their injuries, but I also think that Baker Mayfield is balling. They lost to who I've been hyping up, the Ravens. And I didn't really fault the Commanders too much for losing to the Ravens. I'm not going to fault the Buccaneers either for it. I don't know, 6.
Yeah. I think just because it's tradition right now, they're not in the postseason right now in the theoretical playoffs. They're bumped down. But I do think they're a strong team. I think they could probably bounce back after this loss. So I'm going to probably lower them down to the 5, but I do feel like I wouldn't be shocked if they get to the 6. But for right now, because they're not in the the theoretical playoffs, I have to bump them down to the 5 right now.
It's gonna be a good game next week. The Falcons play in Tampa Bay against the Buccaneers. Like we said earlier, this will be for first place in the division in Week 8 here. We gave them all a 7 last week. I'm gonna give them a 6 this week because you lost to the Ravens. It was in Tampa Bay, so that was kind of embarrassing. But yeah, like Doug said, they've been playing some good. They beat the Lions, beat the Commanders, beat the Eagles, they beat the Saints, but they scored 51 on the Saints. So yeah, Baker Mayfield doing work. They lost their top two wide receivers though. So this next game against the Falcons, we'll see how it matches up because we could easily drop them from a 6 down to something else, or increase them depending on how that game goes.
Yes.
Random news, gentlemen. Bronny and LeBron just shared the court for the first time.
First time duo to
Yay.
share the hardwood.
Very
Yeah.
nice. And not only that, they're beating the
From
Timberwolves.
Ohio, baby, LeBron.
Yes.
Yeah, they're
And
beating
now,
those Anthony Edwards. Good for them.
and also I will say this already. I guess I'll go first right there. Baltimore Ravens, they're looking good. King Henry got an 85-yard rushing touchdown. That was amazing.
I don't
That's
think he
awesome.
scored a touchdown on that one, but
Yeah, it was a long rush. I think it was 81 yards, but yeah, not a touchdown. He
But
got a
at least it was
touchdown
close
right
enough.
after.
You know what I mean?
no, so we're not that casual. You got to get it right.
All right, fine. Okay, he did an 81 rushing. That was literally amazing. This
Oh
team.
man, that was such a highlight, Stu. Do you remember like Jeremy was all talking smack on our friend Chuck? 1% chance that Chuck could win, and then Derrick Henry rips off an 81-yarder, and then Derrick Henry catches a touchdown pass, and Charles Booth goes from 1% to 100%. What a
Oh my God! And then you know what? Just because of that, just because they have Derrick Henry,
Never
Lamar,
have doubt in King Henry himself.
never have down King Henry. We're giving this team an 8 right now. I think this team looks like they're going to make the NFC.
Yeah,
Championship.
we all gave the Ravens an 8 last week.
Yeah, I think this is a much more solid 8 right now.
exactly. That's what
And I gave the Chiefs a 9, so I'm staying the Ravens at an 8. Yeah, they're dominating, and I assume we all know where Doug's going to go with this for the Ravens.
4.
What? Oh.
You're playing as good as the Browns.
Oh.
No, throw me down for an 8. Like this team looks
Oh.
amazing. Like I don't know how you stop them right now.
Oh my
Like
God.
if Derrick Henry gets healthy, you have Zay Flowers, you have Mark Andrews, you have Rashad Bateman still. Like they're just a team that's just incredibly well rounded. Lamar Jackson is looking like the MVP.
Mm-hmm.
But you got to win in the postseason. Until we see them beat the Chiefs, you can't put them ahead of the Chiefs.
No. And now we got the final greatest game right now. It was the LA Chargers losing to the Arizona Cardinals 15-17. My God, I think that tweet from the official Chargers Twitter account should always just represent this game. Pain. And it's just him, and it's just Justin Herbert just looks sad in the press box.
Yeah.
So, gentlemen, I know we gave them both 6s, but let's be honest. They're not making they are theoretically not making the postseason. Christopher, what's your thoughts about the Chargers?
I'll keep them at a 6. Whether I have too many teams in the AFC making the playoffs at a 6 doesn't matter. Chargers should have won that game, but a loss is a loss.
You lost
They had that. Well, I know they were losing at the end of the first half, but yeah, Chargers. It was a weird game. Yeah, Chargers are still playing well. They're 3-3. They're just outside of the playoffs, so they should be a 5. But I mean, their division though. You got the Broncos. It's gonna be between the Broncos and the Chargers for second place in that AFC West. So I'm comfortable with a 6 at the moment.
I'll bump them down to the 5. Like
Ooh.
it's close, but like I mean, ultimately, this is a game that they probably should have won. Granted, I mean, I think the Cardinals are an underrated team this year. Like they beat the 49ers, but they're still out of the playoffs right now. They probably need a receiver because like I think they had 5 field goals in this game, not a single touchdown. You don't win many games without scoring touchdowns.
Yeah, you're right.
And I honestly am going to be – thank you, Douglas, for actually agreeing with me because I'm going to give this team a 5. I just kind of feel like they're definitely doing a lot more improvement, but I just kind of feel like – and Harbaugh's been doing a lot better, doing good as first-year head coach for the Chargers than basically the last coach who was terrible. But yeah, I still kind of feel like this is like a mid-team, to be honest with you. This is a very like football held kind of team, if I can think of it. If I honestly had a perfect definition of a team that's football held, it's the LA Chargers right now. It's like, okay, they might make the postseason. Oh, you lose to the Cardinals. Oh, they might win this game. Oh, they lost to this game. It's like that's what I kind of feel like with this team right now. It's just kind of like, and they might make the postseason and just get blown out, or they're going to miss the playoffs. I feel like that's my 2 options with the LA Chargers right now. I've got to put my crystal ball right now. And now we got to talk about the last but not least, the Arizona Cardinals. Your favorite team now, Douglas, besides the Lions. So we'll start with you. What is your thoughts about the Cardinals, who are now 3-4?
Yeah, man. I'm gonna give them a 5 as well.
What?
I mean, I've been high on them all year. Do you know what the number 5 is for?
Yeah.
Kyler Murray is 5th in the league in QBR.
What? Oh,
And I
no.
mean, they beat a team that we thought were playoff teams. They beat the 49ers on the road a couple weeks ago. They're not perfect, but as they kind of figure things out, Kyler kind of continues to get chemistry with Marvin Harrison and Terry McBride and everybody. They have good play calling. I like their chances to like kind of hang around, probably not make it, but be fun.
I'm feeling. What did I give them last week? I should say, Christopher.
We all gave the Cardinals a 3.
All right. I think I'll bump them up to the 4 at least. You know what? Because they are ahead of the San Francisco 49ers. They are doing a little bit better. They did beat against a team that's in that bubble team. I'll give them credit for that one, but it's kind of been like I feel like this is like a mid team right now. I don't think they're going to make the postseason. I feel like this is like the most mid of all mid teams right now. If the Chargers get the football hell kind of team award, I feel like the Arizona Cardinals get the most mid team I've ever thought of in the NFL right now. So we'll start with you, Christopher. What is your final thoughts?
We'll finish with me. Put me at a 5 because, they just won that game. They're 3-4. They're second in their division. They play the Dolphins next week. We'll see if Tua's even available or even wants to play football. The Bears in 2 weeks going to be a tough team, and then they play the Jets. So, 5, just missing the playoffs. They're right on the cusp of it.
Yeah, and look at that. And, gentlemen, we just got done with Week 7. So now we got the wagers of the week right now. Does anybody want to change how I feel about who's going to get fired this week?
Well, you can't change it. This is what we're doing.
Oh yeah.
Or can we change it? Is that? I mean, I thought we were putting $5.
I'll say I think it's set at this point.
Yeah, right.
I still feel pretty good with the Raiders. Like I think the Giants are pretty good. The Patriots, it's hard to imagine them firing a first-year coach, but you never know with how bad they look.
Yeah, I mean, but let's be honest. If they fire their first head coach, I feel like this is like really bad. I just feel like it's the Giants. You know what? That coach has been there for 3-4 years. And this team looks bad.
Yeah, I mean, they got destroyed, and then seeing Saquon rubbing on their faces was pretty rough.
Yeah.
So the Raiders guy's still an interim head coach. They're starting to get rid of players. They might just want to reset the whole franchise.
Yeah, I think like those two, I do feel like that these are going to be the most likely to blow it up at this point. Like, I think honestly, both of them will probably get fired. So we'll see. And then the picking for who's officially first eliminated.
I mean, we're not changing it, but if I could, I would probably go with the Browns. But I'm not going to drive away from the Patriots.
Those are the 3 1-6 teams, right? Like the Panthers lost again, Patriots 1-6. It's just what league is going to be better? If the NFC's better and more top heavy, or is the AFC going to take off?
Honestly, right now the AFC has more top heavy teams than the NFC does.
Yeah, so it might be. You guys might be right. We'll see.
Yeah.
Stu, where's my money?
All right. I'll get your money. Don't worry. You make me annoyed. So now we're going to talk about the Week 7. Finally, I know we've been long and hard on trying to figure out what we're going to do with these stocks right now. So it looks like, Douglas, your Brown stock did absolutely nothing. Your Jaguar stock did absolutely nothing.
Wait. Jaguars.
Well, the Jaguars went up to a 2.
Yeah, Jaguars went up to a 2. So that gives him $5 extra.
So that goes
to
$13.
8 to 13. Giants. Giants went from
There's still a 2, right?
Yeah, there's still a 2. So Doug's at $13.
So here's what I'm gonna. Oh, are we? You guys?
Yeah, here let's go. What all we have balance wise? So I did my math. I took the Colts. They went from a 5 to a 6.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
So that gives me $12 right there. But the Jets went from a 4 to a 2.
Oh.
So I'm at 16. So I'm at $16 right now.
Yeah,
right.
You lost some money on that share. And then for me, I think we got some share stocks.
Ooh.
Let's see. Bengals went from a 3 to a 4.
Ooh. Patriots are still
So
one.
that gives you what 16 for the Bengals, $16.
Oh,
Dude's
So
got
I
then
17.
And then the Patriots. What was our nothing?
yeah. So nothing really changed. So does that
Recap
mean
that one.
are we adding 16 or do I have 16
So
total?
No,
you
you're
have
six-
$17, dude.
You're sick. Yeah.
Look at
16.
that. We're
You have
tied
17.
right now. The stocks are looking
So you
good.
have
So
$17.
17. Let's go. So we got week 8 right now, and you get to decide Douglas, what you want to do with your stocks.
Windy out
We have
there.
we have an injury on the report.
So what I want to do is I'm going to keep it simple. I'm going to sell all my Jaguars, and I'm going to buy Dolphins with it. So I just want 5 shares of Dolphins for $2 a piece, I believe. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
yes.
So Dolphins. Yeah, they're at 2. So you're doing Dolphins for 5.
Yeah. So I'll take 5 shares of them. So then that'll be my $13. So give me.
So you're going to go Dolphins.
So you have $3 left there, Doug.
No, that should be all my money. I'm just going to stick with what I got. I'm going to keep the Browns and the Giants.
Oh, I see. Gotcha.
So it should be $2, Stu.
Yes, $2 right there. You're putting 5
I still
stocks.
got my 13. I'm going to go hope that Tua sparks something.
I hope the
All
Browns
right.
beat the beat the Ravens. Gotcha.
I mean, I can't go lower, so like, oh.
Right, you're not gonna lose money. And then you said
actually,
Giants.
it's either put it on the Browns or the Panthers, and I don't think either one are winning. So
Yeah.
And you're taking Giants one stock for $2. Gotcha.
yeah, I'll stay there.
Gotcha.
All right. Who are you going to pick? Ooh.
All right, so I'm selling my Colts stock. Jets, they're playing the Patriots this week. It's in Foxborough. I'm going hard on the Jets. I'm taking all my $16. Give me 8 shares of Jets $2 stock.
You're going all in, baby.
That's probably a good bet. That's actually probably
Yeah, I
They're
want
only
to increase this thing, baby.
Wait, are the Jets only $2?
Yeah, we put
Yeah.
the Jets at a median of 2.
All right. Well, never mind. I want to sell my Giants for a Jets, and I didn't realize that. Get that Giants. Give me the better New York team. Like get that out.
Yeah,
of
the
here.
East Rutherford, New Jersey team.
Yeah. All right. That's perfect. No.
All right, so
I
Giants.
just have 1 share.
All right. I still feel so they're at a 4 right now. I might go 2 shares for the Bengals. I think they can beat the Eagles. I just have a weird feeling that they're going to beat the Eagles, and that gives me 8. Let me. I might. Okay. I got.
So you got
$9
$9 left here, Stu.
I'm gonna go 2 shares. The Cowboys. Let's do it.
Cowboys.
I gotta do it.
Against- Was it Cowboys
I think
versus
they
who?
The 49ers. I think they can beat the 49ers. I just feel like it's a primetime game. The 49ers look banged up. I feel like I'm going to go for the 49ers.
Sorry for your bankruptcy, Stu.
We're not going bankrupt. We're not going
All right,
bankrupt.
so you got $1 left. Who are you gonna? Which one are you gonna pick?
Oh,
You got the
God.
Patriots, the Browns, or the Panthers?
All 3 of them are going to lose all their games.
I'm not sure the Panthers are even playing.
Yeah, I think the $1 teams are not worth purchasing, but you still got to.
I'm just going to save that, honestly.
So you can do might as well risk it. The Patriots versus the Jets. I mean, who knows?
I'm fine,
Yeah.
but I'm not.
Worst case is you can make an extra $1, Stu.
Yeah, I mean, you can't lose $1 because they're worth $1.
Yeah, I know, but that's not looking good. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Well, let's see how let's roll the dice, baby.
Let's go Jets! I want some big cash money here.
I'm rooting for the Bengals. I'm Bengals fan. Bengals all the time. Let's go.
Sir, that'd be funny if all 3 of your teams lose.
How dare you? How dare you? How dare you?
Who do the Dolphins play the Cardinals this week?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is the Cardinals. I think it's at home. Oh no, I think it's a home game for the Cardinals. Let me see.
Could I make one more quick move?
All right.
Can I go?
Oh no, it's in Miami. But is Cardinals in Miami?
Can I do 3 and 3? So instead of like 5 on the Dolphins and 1 on the Jet, can I do 3 Dolphins, 3 Jets?
Okay.
I just
We can do that.
wanted to diversify my assets here because the Dolphins might lose to Arizona.
Hey, we'll see how it goes. Look at
All
that.
right.
And gentlemen, we're our
Wait. How does that? Wait. So Dolphins, that's 6. Okay, that's 13. Gotcha.
Now, gentlemen, we are officially done. Do you have any final thoughts on this one?
Oh man, I'm excited, man. Some big games coming up.
Yeah, we do.
College football's been an absolute fire this year too. Like for college, the NFL football's been fantastic this year.
Unless you're a Michigan Wolverines fan, I'm just saying.
Well, Stu, if either of us were throwing jabs here, I was trying to be positive. You could be a Cowboys fan and just lost 47-9 on your home turf and not have a running game. And then for some reason, I think they're going to go beat the 49ers.
I'm just saying, the 49ers look like they're beatable. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, but let's see. Let's just say, go Cowboys. We will bring back our America's team.
Go Browns against the Ravens, but more importantly, go Jets against the Patriots.
Yeah, let's do it. And anyway, we got 2 hours in this podcast. I'll see how this goes, and I'm going to text you later, Mr. Gators. So as always, take care. Bye-bye.